Hello and good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Ellie4K, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you and all of the viewers at home to the Grand Melee Tournament. The Order of the Sheep have gathered us all here today in Hannover, Germany, where Age of Empires 2 is making an appearance at DreamHack for the very first time. We have 8 of the very best Age 2 players from around the world, and they are going to be battling it out for their share of the massive $100,000 prize pool. Players have competed, whether it was through the offline tournament or the online qualifier, the replacement qualifier, or securing their spot from finishing in the top 2 at the Wololo LAN tournament. We are so excited to have such top-tier talent here today, and we're so excited to be underway. DreamHack, it's a pleasure to be here, and someone who is by no means a stranger to DreamHack, we have Artosis joining us over at the Analyst desk, and he will tell us even more about it. Artosis, over to you.
Thank you so much, Ellie. Hey, everybody, I am Artosis. If you're from the Age scene, you may not recognize me. I'm a StarCraft guy, but I love RTS games, so I'm just thrilled to be here, of course, with Ornlu and Nili. Thank you so much for joining me here, guys. Ornlu, how are you doing? How are you feeling about being at this event?
Man, I am so stoked to be here. It is my first LAN event in a long time, but what a way to come back. It is DreamHack, it is massive, and I'm just so glad to be part of it.
Yeah, no, it is a huge tournament. I mean, $100,000 prize pool, Nili. What do you think about this one?
Yeah, obviously $100,000, and players really are grinding it out. They are prepared here, and it just felt like so overdue that we're finally here at DreamHack. Obviously, LAN hosting for like decades now, it feels like, and Age of Empires finally joining the party.
It's wild to even think about that this has not been at a DreamHack yet. You know, I've done a lot of DreamHacks for StarCraft over the years, but the fact that this is the first time that we're seeing that for Age 2, it's a historic moment. So big cheers to the Order of the Sheep for setting that up. And, well, let's learn a little bit more about the Order of the Sheep.
In days of old, there was a king, so wise, so decent, and so loved. He reigned over all lands and united whole continents under his crown. A time of peace which ended suddenly as the king was ambushed by an old enemy. The king had to flee into the mountains to evade his death. Years passed and the realm decayed. But the old king's allies never lost hope. They searched the hills relentless, until one day they came across a single scouting sheep wearing the old king's cloak around its neck. The animal led them into the heights to an hidden cavern, and in it their beloved king, lying through the years but safe and sound. The old king told his allies about the prophecy of the ancient sheep. One day there will be a worthy challenger who will take back the reins and lead the kingdom to new glory, love, and eternal harmony. From then on, the old king and his allies formed a secret group, searching in the dark for the challenger of the prophecy. Patience is the key to success. Patience is the key to success.
Bullshit! We have been waiting and searching for a decade now. Nothing.
But what about the prophecy? Patience.
Patience will lead to success. Blah, blah. I don't want to defy the prophecy. The Order has grown, and we are widely known in the shadows. It's time to speed up the process. We need to step out of the shadows. Get me a chest of the Order's treasury. Let's find the next Grand Master who will lead the Order to its former wealth, fame, and power. The era of the Order of the Sheep has come. Now, members, head out and prepare the grand melee to find the best of the best. The word of your actions traveled far, contenders. Of all fighters from all over the world, you struck our eye. And now your time has come. The Order of the Sheep announces you to be part of the grand melee. Show us your skills and contest among the best. May the grand melee begin! Are we done? What about the camera?
What about the camera?
Are we still rolling? My arms are getting heavy.
For sheep's sake, turn that thing off already.
All right. She's a real gamer. Arms getting tired after 10 seconds in the air. All right. I mean, this tournament is gigantic, right? Like, take a look at the prize pool. $100,000 on the line. Even if you don't win a single game from here, $4,000 you're going home with. $40K for first place. This is one of the biggest tournaments of the year, right? Hey guys, welcome back to the Grand Melee. Sorry about that little technical difficulty. Always happens at the beginning of every LAN event. I can vouch for that. But anyways, we are ready. The draft is ready. Are you guys ready to see what they want to play?
Born ready, man.
All right, let's do it. Let's jump into the draft.
So as we all know, Sheepfold, game number 1.
I like your head over. Yeah, that's really
yeah.
Nice map head.
And then we have one home map each, then each of them bans one map that they can't play, and then another pick, so each player has 2 home maps, and Sheepfold as the opening. Best of 5, the full sets today.
And here we are. We have our first map, and it will be Fish and Fish from Tato, a very aggressive hybrid map. So we got fish on the land in the middle, you got fish on the outside. Going to be tons and tons of early aggression there as Villese goes with Arena.
Oh no, do they really get fish in the middle?
They get box turtles, man. They changed it. Now it's turtles and fish, but that just doesn't roll off the tongue as well.
Only was complaining about that yesterday. And Arena for Villese, interesting. Very strategic map. Heavily depends on what civilization we are going for. Can play out completely differently. Tato bans graveyards. A bit of a surprise to me. It's kind of a standard map, just more relics. Does Tato not feel comfortable on an Arabia-like setting?
Yeah, I'm not too sure about that. It feels like Tato would thrive in these sorts of settings, especially ones that are very map control oriented, just getting all of those relics. There are 11 on the map as opposed to the standard 5. But I guess he just doesn't want to have to risk it in the early game versus somebody as strong as Villese. And of course, Villese himself not wanting to play Tato on a water map makes tons of sense. Tato's one of the best out there on those.
Northern Isles, therefore banned. But Tato, okay, still give me some water. Frigid Lake. And Frigid Lake, compared to Vololo, plays very differently. We have seen lots of stable opening in Vololo, and we have seen lots of land aggression. Water, more of a side story. Here we have seen double dock opening, or Hera even triple docked in the qualification.
Yeah, and that just goes with the slower start of Dark Age. You can have the time to get your fishing ships out, and when you already have those fishing ships out, water suddenly becomes a lot more valuable in terms of fighting over it. But I'm sure Tato is going to be totally fine there. And then Villese, going with Arabia, this is about as standard as we can get in Age of Empires. And Villese, just a very mechanically sound player. He'll be doing fine there. Tato will as well. It's going to be a nice skill matchup.
I kind of want to see that as game 5.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That would be so nice. Frigid Lake also, if you add fishing ships, if you have 17 villages, relatively speaking, way more impactful than if you have 29, 30 villagers already. So water fight will be more there. I'm a bit surprised that we didn't see Northern Isles. I suspect Tato to have a great strategy for Fish and Fish.
Oh yeah, and we've seen all throughout the qualifiers just tons and tons of aggression. Players just preemptively putting a watchtower in the middle of the map, no fear. And yeah, we'll have to see as we now have our civilization draft starting. You can see Hindustanis being the first ban there from Tato.
Yeah, you mentioned them, pretty strong civilization, doesn't want to get into a super uncomfortable matchup where the civ balance isn't really there, could run into 65-35 matchups. Tato rather wants to play the stable one, but same goes for Villese, bans another super strong civ.
You can see the nerfs coming into full effect there. Civs are unplayable.
Jared. And we have to ask the devs, did you balance enough? right?
Yeah.
If those are the maps, the 3 civilizations that got nerfed in the last patch instantly banned.
Oh, yep, there's polls. They're the biggest nerfs that I mentioned earlier. And there we go, just banning them all right away. But I suppose that will lead to ultimately more balanced and entertaining matches for us here.
Yeah, I think so as well. So now, technically, Portuguese should be the next ban, right?
Nah.
Big changes?
Yeah.
Before?
Keep dreaming, Nilly. I know your Portuguese fanboyism.
Japanese,
Yeah.
obviously, arguably the best civilization for Fish and Fish. Interesting that Tado actually banned that one away. So Fish and Fish, apparently a different plan there. Let's see what he comes up with. Japanese, obviously crazy good with their men-at-arms and all the fish, so could be pretty good. Burgundians, I could see that for Arena.
Oh yeah, it is a fantastic civ economically. You have some strong early Imperial Age play with the cheaper Paladin upgrade. You have some of the best gunpowder in the game, and you have your Custier unique unit. That is all going to be quite strong, and I think that just makes a lot of sense for a closed map like Arena.
Is that something that you say, okay, they're so good on Arena, you're instantly going to snipe them? Or do you try to have a counter pick like Bohemians, Turks, or something? What should be Tado's game plan here?
Well, I mean, I feel like Burgundians always seem to win versus Bohemians just because that early Imperial Age is so strong for them that Bohemians don't have the chance to get to their post-imp. But a civ like Turks that can just punch you in the face before you can get your eco set up, I think that could work out a bit more comfortably for Tato. But these guys are just flying through the civs right now. They got Tato with Byzantines and Lithuanians, whereas Villese is going to be opting for Aztecs.
Byzantines, I could see that for Frigid Lake, but I also could see Lithuanians for Frigid Lake. Probably then Byzantines, Frigid Lake, Lithuanians for Fish and Fish. Arabia, prioritized pretty low. I wanted to say, but look at that, Villese, Sheepfold, Arabia, at 6 millions? Feels pretty likely.
Yeah, and I really like to see Villese picking up both of the Meso civs, known for 20 years now to be like some of the very best civs on these open and aggressive maps. And Villese gets both of them. And there we go, Tato going with Turks, like I suggested. So we have Tato opting for some more, I guess, civs that feel more like counter picks. They don't. Byzantines, Lithuanians, and Turks feel like they're adapting to what Villese is going to be doing, whereas Villese is just like, okay, what are the best civs on these maps? Let's just go with them.
Do you think that pick 6 for Tato kind of needs to be an Arena pick as well? Because if Turks are banned away, Tato has no backup civilization for Arena right now. So I think like Bohemians as pick 6 could be an option for Tato still.
Well, he's going with Tatars. They are not an Arena civ. They are a civ that like open maps, they like hills, and Arena has none of those things. So that could be maybe a bit more focused on something like Arabia, maybe Frigid Lake. There are some hills there, I believe. And it's going to be Mongols for Villese, so kind of a similar civ, and they are super fast and aggressive. That can work on both Arabia or Fish and Fish.
Yeah, Fish and Fish kind of feels like an option trying to contest Japanese. You can still ban Japanese, right? And then Lithuanians is the big question where you go with them. Also, an option on Frigid Lake, right? If you go for that crazy like Pop 21 fire galley opening, it will get really tricky, and then Lithuanians lose the advantage. Bohemians now picked for Villese, so he prepares the backup for his Burgundians. Tato now needs to think of a matchup. I wouldn't be surprised if something like Brits flies in.
Yeah, I think that could make a lot of sense. Maybe some other civ that's going to be strong in early Imperial Age. But right now, I'm really liking Villese's draft. I feel like you just have such clear, strong picks on so many of these different map types. And there you go, Nelly. Just for you. There's the GL bias.
Delayed. Portuguese, still a slight option on Arena. Doesn't excite me that much. I'm still curious what we're going to see there. Or is Tato simply playing, okay, I have Lithuanians or Byzantines as a backup if he bans Turks away from me?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent option just because Portuguese are quite flexible in that you can play them on closed maps and on water maps. And there is Persians.
What?
I think people forgot that Persians are a civ anymore, man. You just don't see them all that often, but they are a really potent civ on these hybrid maps these days. Just having that early wood and having the faster working docks, it can really lend you a hand in the most aggressive water settings.
Still remember, no Dark Age faster production for the Persian town center. That's a real surprise. I already felt it weird that we see Tatars that early, but Persians? When was the last time we saw Persians? Not in this balance.
In the qualifiers.
Who played that?
I don't know, a lot of people pick Persians.
Really?
Yeah. They're still a really strong civ, and Dravidians, one of the new Dynasties of India civs that was not banned, and Khmer are going to be rounding out Villese's draft, I believe. And we're looking at, again, pretty flexible civs. Dravidian's going to be a strong option on Fish and Fish because they are super aggressive in that early feudal age, and Chimeric just kind of work everywhere.
Frigid Lake, it kind of feels like Frigid Lake for Khmer, but way better on Empire was setting humans as a backup for Arena here for Tato in case his Turks are getting banned. Nice choice there. I'm a bit surprised by the Persians still. Remember, now both players picked 7 civilizations, and we will snipe one away from the opponent.
Yeah, so it really comes down to where do you think there's a weak point in your opponent's draft? Where are they over-reliant on a certain civ on a certain map? And I think these guys have pretty well-rounded drafts. I mean, they are no strangers to these settings, and it's actually going to be the first picked civs, Byzantines and Burgundians getting sniped. Interesting stuff, Nelly.
So then Villese has to play Bohemians on Arena, and Tato can choose. Do I play Turks there, or do I play Cumans there? What's your choice on Arena?
I think you saved Cumans for Sheepfold. In the one show match we saw, we did see Cumans on Sheepfold, so, you know, that is a 100%...
No?
Ignore that fact. That's not relevant, Nelly. No, I think that you do have at least a little bit more space to work right there, but I think banning away Burgundians just makes so much sense. You then get the Turks versus Bohemians matchup, and because Turks are so fast, I feel like Bohemians, like if they're ever going to struggle on close map, like that is the only situation they're going to do it in.
And we've seen, didn't we have in Warlords MBL versus Hera? And it was like 15 of Nietzsche against 15 Bombard Cannons in Black Forest.
That was Black Forest, yeah.
Yeah. So like that could be a Bombard Cannon fest that could be repeated.
Yeah, lots and lots of dodgeball going on right there. You have the extra range of the Turk artillery, literally, and you have the Hofnitsa going in with their just stronger blast radius, better stats all around. It's a really fun matchup to watch and very micro-intensive.
Absolutely love that. Sheepfold, what's our picks there? I feel like at 6 millions, Arabia Sheepfold can go either way. What is Tato going for? Do you think it's Cumans?
It could be Cumans. I mean, they're just such an out there civilization, getting the extra town center in Feudal Age, getting siege workshops and rams in Feudal Age, cheaper archery ranges and stables. They're just one of the more kooky civs we have in Age of Empires. That is the technical term, of course. And now we're looking to go ahead and get this match underway in just a little bit. We'll have to see what these guys go for. I think Tatars are also an option on Sheepfold. They do love their sheep. Even if you can't access the ones in the middle, they're still just a really well-rounded civ. So I think we could see that. I mean, Tatars, you can play a lot of Cav Archers versus the Eagle Warriors, and you should be good to go here in a minute.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ornlu. That was amazing watching you guys just break that down so quickly, really understanding what all these civ picks entailed and what maps that they were going to be used on. But yeah, we are just about ready now, guys. Nilly now has gone over to the casting desk with Dave, and we are going to get this first match started. Guys, take it away.
Hello, everyone. First time on camera, second time for you. Welcome to DreamHack Hanover, and of course, the Grand Melee. We're about to get started here. Amazing first set, Villese versus Tato. Now, there's a lot of background between these two players. The draft was extremely interesting for me. I have a bunch of notes about that coming up here. And I think the biggest thing is I think Villese made a gigantic mistake sniping Byzantines.
Why is that?
Because Lithuanians and Persians do what Byzantines do, slightly, albeit slightly worse than them on the hybrid maps. But I think Tato can make do, whereas on Arena, unless Villese was afraid of Tato going for something like Portuguese on Arena, not getting rid of the Turks, which I think is the only counter to Bohemians, maybe Turks and Poles, in my opinion, is a massive mistake. I think the Turks are the one counter civilization, maybe Poles a little bit, to the Bohemian threat on Arena.
But think about it. Tato also had Cumans. Remember, Dowd in the qualifier had a brilliant Cuman strategy against MBL. Tower rush into back town center, and then having the way better economy couldn't really be punished.
I don't think that works against anyone but MBL, though.
Why is that?
I don't think it works against Villese.
Well, what's the answer to it? If Villese doesn't have the answer, I think keeping Turks open to not face Cumans is an option.
I mean, maybe, but if I'm a Bohemians player, I'm not afraid of Cumans on Arena. I'm not afraid of them at all. Not afraid. I think Bohemians are the best civ on Arena. Bohemians are Poles, unless they're matching up against Turks. And we'll see if it plays out that way. I mean, maybe Tato doesn't even go Turks on Arena, right?
Where else would you play them?
Well, maybe you just pick them to make your opponent think you're picking them.
As pick 3.
Yeah, I don't know.
mind games.
Yeah.
Starting in set 1.
Yeah. I mean,
Single
I
elimination bracket.
looked at the Persian pick as well, and I'm thinking, if I wanted to play Persians on a map, if I was Tato, if I wanted to play Persians on a map, I know my opponent's not picking that. I can save that till like pick 5.
Persian was late, right? You have 7 picks. I think it was pick 6.
And then he's going to think that I'm picking another civ during that game. So it's like a triple mind game.
The thing is, you said Byzantines and Lithuanians are so adjacent to Persians, like how their bonuses work, that maybe that could have been a civ for Villese. He now had to go for Khmer. Maybe he wanted Persians for
Or
Frigid
that,
Lake.
I mean, this is why we're not, I mean, Nilly's trying, but this is why I don't even attempt to become a pro player. I don't even play.
I nearly tried to attempt. I thought you said try to explain it, but you even went further. Tries to attempt to be
I'm
pro
sorry,
player.
man. I'm sorry. We've been beating up on you for 2 days now. Anyway, guys, it was a very interesting draft. We'll be talking about that the whole time, of course. We showed the results for Villese in the qualifying stage. I mean, 8-1, kind of crazy. A player that he matched up against in the qualifying stage is a player I feel is very similar to Tato, one of the grand strategists of the game, which is the Max. And there was a bunch of interesting games. That was the only loss he took, was to the Max. But Villese kind of showed that even against some interesting strategies, a lot of thought put into it, he can just carry that level of consistency that he brings, the 3TC boom that he's known for, you know. And he will be perfectly content to match up against someone who's going for those interesting strats, the interesting civ picks, maybe utilizing the new stuff from the latest patch in the Portuguese, which were in Tato's selections.
Yeah, that's going to be the super interesting thing, right? We have seen like build orders already popping up, pop 17 scouts, pop 18 scout rush there. Not really sure on what map you want to see that. Maybe Arabia, maybe just ignore the water, play it on Frigid Lake and try to come back a bit later. There will be different options, right? Portuguese, so versatile, more HP on their ships there as well. Every gold unit or every military unit costs less gold. So I think Portuguese, we will see them a lot this DreamHack.
And I also want to bring up the historical data between these two. They are 4-4. And they're not just 4-4 in lifetime sets. It is 17 wins for Tato and 18 wins for Villese.
Yeah.
So that's about as close as you can possibly get. And I think 9 of those games were in a final that ended 5-4. I think Master of Hyper ran them.
Ah, great.
So in S-tier events as well, they're very even.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's like they're so close, and that's why we had the predictions, right? I said 3-2, Arnold went for 3-2 for Villese, I went for Tato. What's your prediction?
I think 3-1 Tato.
3-1 Tato.
I think Villese is extremely consistent. Like I said, his high days are here, his low days are here, and usually we end up somewhere in the middle, which is pretty close to the high day. But Tato is coming out of that boot camp. He's coming off the Walalo Legacy win, and I think we're already into the first match here. As we zoom into the screen, we're already on Sheepfold. This is Villese versus Tato, game number 1. Welcome to the Grand Melee here at DreamHack Hannover. I'm Dave, and I'm with Nilly, of course, and we're going to open this one up for you. And if you haven't seen this map before, trust me, you're not the first person, because this is a very new map to the scene. It is stylistically made for this tournament, and like Nilly said, it plays kind of like Arabia, but not exactly.
Yeah, you can't really wall the center. Plus, it feels like you're pretty close, but actually the rush distance is a bit longer. Woodlines are pretty similar, but as you can see, you need to move out to the sides to get to bigger woodlines there. And Portuguese, a big question mark on them because they just got a big balance change.
And Portuguese, now you can get away with a lot more because you have that extra wood from foraging those berries. Now, I also want to point out that our observer here is actually Vodka, so we're giving him a shout out at the very beginning of the tournament.
Nice.
And he's going to be doing fantastic work for us as we have a slight pause here, I believe. Anyway, Civs, Villese playing as the Aztecs, Tato playing as the Portuguese, even with the new buffs for the patch. Do you think the Portuguese have enough to take out the Aztecs?
I think so. It's like Portuguese, it's so good to now easily get to men-at-arms, put under pressure. Then Aztecs can struggle a bit, especially if we get to like lots of crossbows. We can get to lots of men-at-arms, like later upgrade them into longswords. And then Aztecs, like what are they really throwing at you in Castle Age? Eagles? Not really an option anymore.
Yeah, it's tough, but the Aztec production is insane, right? You never underestimate them. And then even if the Portuguese somehow get into like a nice castle position, which is hard because the stone is not in your main base on this map, so you really have to reach out for that. Aztecs can go Redemption Monks, and like Aztecs going into Monks is so dangerous unless you have archers on the field already to deal with them.
But if you go with Portuguese monks, it's like the best unit to go for to use your gold bonus.
How much is a Portuguese monk? Is it like 70?
No, it's minus 15%, so 85 I would assume.
85.
100 minus
Okay.
15?
15. Okay.
Early math.
I thought it was like 25. See, this is why we need Orlu and you here.
I thought it was
I'm just here
15.
for a pretty face, you know?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what they told me. The personalized note we got in the hotel. They said, Dave, you're so beautiful.
Those were so nice, right?
They were
That's nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We got like these little scrolls with a signet ring on them, and it was a personalized note. So I know I saw the one they wrote to you, and it was very sweet.
I teared up a bit.
Yep.
That's special.
Yep.
So, a drop apparently there that we're trying to get back into the game. Obviously, we won't miss too much of the action, but we're maybe talking a bit about the new format here, right? We are using the Deep Waters League format. We start with +6 villagers, some reduced resources, but that speeds up the early game a bit.
It does speed up the early game, and especially for these closed maps, you know, the hybrid maps where it's not really changing your strategy, having those extra vills. It speeds up the tournament in general.
Look at how it speeds up. We're at minute 9 already.
Exactly.
Let's go.
As we jump into the game, I guess we had a spectator issue. It doesn't look like too much has been happening as we look at the KD, and it's 0-0. EKO KD is 0-0 as both players here just slightly walling up. We see Tato going for the wall on the northwest side of his base, and he's walling to that middle area. There is stone, I believe, in the middle, so you can't fully complete that wall. But he's trying to make himself secure, and he's gone for the archers here. Resources for Tato looking a little bit better than Villese, as Villese is trying to apply pressure of his own with a few skirmishers, an eagle, a spearman, and an archer. Sounds like the beginning of a joke somehow. We'll have to figure that one out. As Villese now stretches out, but he's got to be careful here. If he goes if Tato goes too deep here, Villese could catch him off guard.
And it's only archers, right? The scout can get some hits here, but wants to keep the HP nice and high. Tato, I think he needs to go for something else than archers exclusively, because those skirms are coming over. Oh, Tato is trapping himself.
He
can't get through there.
No, there's a path.
What? How? What?
Nilly, you've been watching this game for 20 years. There's always a hole, especially when there's rock terrain. There's rock beside rock, okay? And as we know, rock beats rock. And right now, Tato is playing with paper as he runs in here towards the gold. And he's going to chase Villese off of that. Villese, in the meantime, his response is just to harass a woodline a little bit with skirmishers.
But only with skirmishers, right? Damage output with skirmishers not that high. That villager probably getting scared away a bit, but the defense should be pretty easy for Villese. Already has the armor for his skirmishers as well. Those archers are barely doing any damage.
Yeah, but they're going to present a threat, right? So Villese is going to have his thoughts on those archers at the back. He's going to put less thought into the push at the front here as he still continues to harass. It feels like Tato should probably relocate that lumber camp at some point. But this is just going to be in the back of Villese's mind this entire time as he's trying to secure his eco. And Tato has done such a good job to keep that scout alive.
Yeah, and you saw how he pulled back earlier, right? With 33 HP, where we felt, okay, maybe could have found another skirmisher kill here. But this one getting so much value, those skirms can't really chase the archers away now.
Yeah, still no way in for Villese. I guess he could loop around from the middle, but he's perfectly content right now. He sees the, well, quote-unquote damage that's being done to Tato. I mean, he had to relocate another lumber camp. His villagers are constantly idle, and he's got all of his military pinned here on the woodline as Villese starts adding in some farms of his own. Neither player with horse color yet, by the way. And Villese already has quite a few farms there, so missing out on a little bit of value.
Yeah, 12 on food versus only 8 on food for Tato, so the transition there is not going to be too pretty. Berries obviously already done here. You go for those pretty early if you are Portuguese. Woodline pretty inefficient, and as we can see, Tato still ahead in worker efficiency. What happened there for Villese? Did he just move some villages?
Yeah, I think Villese has been relocating to farms. So they've been building farms, they've been walking towards the farms. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think it'll balance out because Tato's villagers were bumping up so much on the woodline. And ooh, Tato going for some scouts here and catching the skirmishers. He saw Villese really without the spearman numbers forward. And the scouts picked those off. So at the end of the day, Tato has all of the pressure coming forward, and he still knows about that path through the middle, which Villese can't do anything about.
But Tato is now going for skirm and scouts. So no bonus on the gold end. Still 8 on gold. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a market pretty soon. We already see the market for both. Could be a run for the prizes here.
Yep, market for both players as Tato gets his complete first and Tato wins the battle for the market.
Nice. And still, look at how much food he bought. He bought to basically 0 gold because he knows, I still have 8 on gold. Now even sells some wood. He will have a, well, probably like 1 minute advantage.
And he only sells 100 stones, so he's still maybe interested in going for that boom. He's keeping his options open once he gets to the next stage and actually walling up at the back of his base. So he just wants to control the avenues through the center of the map where he can't wall over that rocky terrain. And he will know where Villese is going to pressure from, and Villese once again hitting that wood line, just being a constant annoyance there.
Oh, look at that. 5 low HP villagers. Tato forced them back onto the wood line. Needs to evacuate, goes for the right side. That feels like there could be some holes here on top of the houses. Oh, that's at least a hole for sure.
I mean, that's a pretty big hole there, but Tata's going to realize he's going to go for 3 houses. I wonder how weak those villagers are, though. Did he pull the weak vills? Potential here if he's not paying attention for Villese to maybe kill 1 or 2 of those.
But he just auto-attacks, didn't really micro villagers. Seems like they get home, and HP on the south should be around 400 or 500, so Villese can't really contest that.
So, Villese's perspective, he's got 11 skirmishers, 1 in the queue right here. Tato has 12 archers, he's going to go into crossbow. Does Villese just tech into elite skirm?
Elite Skirm? Well, he continues producing Skirm, so yeah, feels like he's going into that. And Eagle Elite Skirm becomes a really tricky composition, right? Then Tato kind of needs to go for Knights, but he didn't really set up for that, right? He has 1 stable, went for 3 scouts, and I don't see any upgrades coming for those. So I think Tato wants to continue on Rage, but he plans ahead, goes for Bloodlines, so Knights, a real option.
If he adds in Knights, we look at his eco right now. He's got 14 on food, he's got 8 on gold. That's not 2 stable Knight production, that's 1 stable Knight production. And that's an easy counter from Villese as long as he keeps his monks near his skirms. You go for 1 monastery to convert the Knights. A Knight conversion early in Castle Age is a massive swing.
Yeah, but that means also Tato goes aggressively, right? He right now, it just feels like the game is stabilizing. We see a second barracks. We even see a misclick of a militia in the queue there by Villese. And the big question though, how many TCs are we going for, right? Tato sold 100 stone, so can only add another 1. Stone a bit more on the outside here, not spawning next to it. And yeah, I think it was just a misclick.
Okay, I hope it was a misclick, unless we're getting something really spicy here.
Uh-oh. Is he getting sandwiched here? Only 1 scout.
That's a really dangerous position there for Tato, but he manages to squeak his way out of that, and I think that was his earlier Castle Age time, just kind of telling Villese, like, I can get these upgrades in the middle of this fight. You might be in trouble as he comes over here. Will we get the first villager kill of the game? Still nothing. We've seen like 4 or 5 forward attacks so far, and neither player has lost a villager. So it's a good start to this tournament here. It casts a curse. Villese loses 2 on the gold as he's attempting to go for that safety net of the defensive tower.
Oh, tower HP. We have to look at that as well. Going to be tricky if he cancels that one in time. We are at 160 HP. If that tower is getting denied, that means no extra town centers for Villese. He needs to cancel it. He does. Can add a town center after.
Yeah, Villese armies on both sides, though, as he's trying to build up 11 elite skirms. So he's cut production on the skirmishers. Tato still adding in crossbows as he picks off another villager and a 4th villager now on the wood line. And this is an incredibly awkward position for Villese. If you're fighting skirm against crossbow, you prefer to be like in an open field. You don't want to be behind walls, behind buildings, and then the crossbows can just pick away and come back and snipe your villagers.
Can just use the range advantage there. Villese therefore moving outside. Positioning could have been slightly more into his favor. Maybe you could make an argument an earlier tower at the gold and more defense on the left-hand side could have made his life easier, but now nice positioning out of our Finnish player.
I like how aggressively Tato's playing this Portuguese against Aztecs. I really like it. He's dictating the play and he's forcing Villese to focus on 2 areas at once, and the militia comes out and Tato, he just has to be super intimidated by that unit.
3 knights already in the field, so well, militia is intimidating. Skirms won't be in a second.
Oh, and he's missed it. He's been hunting for those crossbows on the other side, and he's completely missed it. And Tato is just kind of stealthily hiding behind the forest on the left.
Dots are getting closer again, though. Knights are coming over. That will take some time. Tato trying to hide. He needs to buy his archers some time.
Yeah. I think another 15, 20 seconds, those Knights come in, or you can just win the fight. I mean, you can make that decision too. Fantastic stuff here from Tato as he buys himself, like you said, a little bit more time, and here comes the cavalry in to deal with those skirmishers. Tato also going for his second TC. Villese obviously making his a little bit earlier. Villager count right now, 47 for Villese, 51 for Tato, and the villagers were heading out there, but managed to retreat just in time as the Knights are engaging against the skirms.
But that's still quite some distance, right? They could open the gate potentially. And Tato's town center is so well positioned there. That's kind of the only entrance for Villese, if Villese ever gets into the spot to attack. And look at that, military count looking so good. Army value, not even 1,000 against 2.2k.
Yeah, and Villese starts adding in a couple monks here to deal with the Knights, but the problem for him is that he's been losing skirm mass, right? So now the monks aren't going to have much answer if the crossbows are with the Knights and they can come in and snipe them. So Villese is going to have to be really, really careful with his monks. He sent those villagers back to work and he pulls them back just in time. From certain death over there on the left as a fifth villager now going down. Tato abusing those pathways around the middle. He knows Villese can't wall there, and he keeps coming into the main gold or to the woodline on the left side of his base.
Look at the KD, 26 to 7, blocking this gold, now attacking the left side here. Eagles are coming in, but those aren't crazy numbers, but one nice conversion.
Yeah, that's a big conversion, and he didn't lose any HP on his monk. He didn't lose the monk itself, so that's a pretty nice swing. And now there's a ton of skirmishers over there. So Villese is fine on the left, still has to worry about the right, and look what's coming from the right. Oh, he has to leave with everything on the woodline here. Crossbows, skirmishers, Knights in there as well. And Tato, I think he's going to lose this army, but he's certainly going to get value from it.
Yeah, it was even villagers before this one. Villese was even one ahead, but look at that. Now the Knights are killing the skirmishers here, pushing away. So many villagers side, 13 already, and Tato takes a big eco lead.
Yeah, and Tato even snipes a monk there before he runs away, so extra value from him. We see 2 Aztec Knights there from Villese, but villager count still 11 ahead for Tato, and he's controlling the woodline. Villese is still afraid to go out to that main gold. Monk is going to be sniped down. Fantastic stuff from Tato. Of course, he does have ballistics, and he's just sending more crossbows. And I feel like we're starting to see the impact of the less gold costs for the Portuguese units.
Yeah, and look at that. He's heavily on gold, right? If you look at the 4th column from the right, the 700 is the army value, the 2k is the army value for Tato, and the number below is how many % of this army investment was in gold. 50% gold investment for Tato, exactly what he wants.
Yeah, and it's just snowballing now. It's just completely snowballing. Villese is going for a 3rd TC, which will help him recover some villager numbers, also helps him defend a little bit, get a safe wood line on the left side as the Knights now can't push in from Tato. But Tato going for a 3rd TC of his own in the back, and he's already ahead by 13 villagers here. He's feeling very comfortable in this game, and he's controlling that main goal, controlling that first wood line from Villese.
And in some dream world, I can see how it's like a skirm monk defense is a good scenario. It's tough to die there, but typically you want to have the better economy, but that's something Villese can't count on. And Tato happily booming away behind this. It will be a small time to breathe. It's now important that Tato checks, do I have all eco upgrades? Do I have all military upgrades? How do I continue this game? He decides he wants to go for aggression. Villagers going forward. Mangonel coming up next.
And even buys the food for the 2nd armor upgrade for the Knights, which means they can kind of dive under those TCs. I mean, the skirmishers already aren't getting much value against those units. He's hunting down the crossbows because he wants his monks to be effective.
Is he diving?
As Tato comes in, he's just going to dive. He's going to give him 2 conversions for sure. Those are 2 Knights swinging over to Villese's side, but the monks are going down, and now the crossbows can run in. And he's got 4 villagers forward, so likely a siege workshop coming up soon.
Oh, monk goes down, and now there's no monks left. Look at that, 3 in the queue. Maybe he needed a 2nd monastery, but he goes for Sanctity. There's no monk production for 40 seconds. Cancelled Sanctity to get some monks out, but it will be too late, Dave.
Yeah, I mean, there's no answer to the crossbows right now from Villese. I mean, he's got 9 skirmishers, but the Knights are there to guard, especially once the siege workshop comes in and a Mangonel comes out. It's going to be so difficult for Villese. He's going to have to get Redemption at that point, and then once you have Redemption, you kind of need Sanctity as well, which he already canceled. So the snowball is going to get out of control here. We'll see if Villese can hold. He's a very good defensively.
Finally, a 2nd monastery here. I think he needed that a bit earlier, because you said he wanted to get those upgrades. They take time, right? Monk takes always in the, well, high 2-digit numbers there. Finally, this defensive siege workshop there for him, but Monk numbers, not enough to deal with those knights.
It's also a weird position for him because his TC is going to be under fire from the left side, and he can't range the Mangonels on the left side as the Knight is in the back there. Awfully close to that stone from Villese. So if Villese keeps the Mangonel, or sorry, if Tato keeps the Mangonel on the left, it's going to be hard for Villese to get value against that as the Knights are diving in looking for more Monk kills. He gets a Monk kill. The Mangonel is now out. Villese does not have one in the queue yet. He's under so much pressure. Knights up +2 under the TC. Mangonel is firing on the TC, and I feel like this game is just very close to over. And there we go. Villese calling the GG. Fantastic stuff from Tato. Never-ending pressure there.
Yeah, it was so sick, right? And, well, going back, we have to question, like, where did it go wrong there for Villese? Felt a bit like he had too many skirms. Like, those scouts paid off so brilliantly. Like, Tato, he was there with his archers, but never really got punished for going archers exclusively till he got the scouts out.
Well, I also think the way that Tato walled his base, right? Like, he walled the one side, and then he was keeping tabs on the other side. Like, he had exploration there. Villese kind of walled right up to his main gold. And Tato just waltzed in there because he assumed that all the army was on the other side on the wood line. But then he waltzed in there while he had one villager building the tower or something and got super punished for that. And then once that happened, once he lost 4 villagers, Tato had armies on both sides, just took good engagements. And it was just snowbally from there. So fantastic stuff.
Do you think the game is so much easier to play for Villese if he had an outpost at each side?
Yeah.
Because
if he had an outpost
like
10 tiles away from that gold on the right side, so much easier for him, right? It gives you just like 5 seconds warning. You can toss 10 villagers on that tower instead of just 3. And you might lose a couple vills, but Tato's not going to hang out there for an extended period of time.
Well, still long set to go. We have a best of 5. Tato is leading 1-0 here. That's me. And, well, those are the remaining civilizations. The question now, what is Villese going for? Arabia or Arena?
You can pick your opponent's maps here too, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think so. So if you want to wear him down, or if you feel comfortable on one of your opponent's maps, you can even choose to go over there. I think it might be Arena, though, for Villese. I think it might be Arena.
The thing is, especially like after you saw, okay, Sheepfold was pretty aggressive, maybe you want to slow down things a bit, start with walls and like go into the late game already and like get more into the groove, more into the zone compared to Arabia where you know, okay, it's getting pretty intense starting like minute 9 already.
Yeah, at least with the first map here with Sheepfold, you kind of eliminate Portuguese from your thought process with Villese. Because I feel like that was kind of a question mark, right? When we looked at Tato's draft, where is he going to pick Portuguese? Was he going to pick them on Sheepfold? Was he going to go for some weird strategy on Arena instead of Turks as some sort of mind game? Unlikely, but he could have picked them on Frigid Lake as well. Maybe Fish and Fish, there's an argument. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's Tato.
You never Lithuanians, 100% right?
Sure.
We felt like Lithuanians feels really strong on Fish and Fish.
Yep.
So, but also like could have been a Frigid Lake option there for sure, and Arabia, Portuguese, something like that. Well, will be tricky for sure. I think Mayans for Arabia could be the big thing, and then we have still Bohemians on Arena against Turks. Is that the matchup that we're expecting?
I think so. I think so, and I think Villese is going to. I mean, it's funny because he won that matchup against Viper in Titans League. It was like a famously long game where Viper had Hufnitsa and Villese had artillery bomber cannons, and we were saying like once Viper gets to Hufnitsa, and Villese's like no. Once he gets there, good luck. Yeah.
All the heavy CA, right?
Yep.
That was a brilliant game by Villese. I remember that.
So he knows all about that Civ matchup, right? Like he's won that Civ matchup before. So. I think he has to assume it's Bohemians versus Turks, and I think the most important thing with that matchup, which I saw from Nikov, which was an amazing strategy choice, he actually went Castle Age hand cannons. He went Castle Age hand cannons to control the middle of the map because he knows if you're Bohemians and your opponent is Turks, they get all the relics and control the map, and they have that forward position. You can never break out from that.
Ooh. Okay, hand cannons, you obviously have the better production compared to the one castle that the Turk player has. I could see that. You are behind in range, right? And heavily behind in HP, though. Right? Isn't it like 35 against 55 HP? So you need way more shots. So you need way better numbers if you're the Bohemian player. But obviously
it's only in Castle Age to get the position, though. It's only in Castle Age to get the position over the Turks. That was against Leary, I believe.
Oh, I remember a game Nikov against Hera as well, where he played hand cannoneers against the Aztecs of Hera and completely wrecked all the monks away.
Yeah.
And Eagles.
I think map control in Arena with that Civ matchup, we're spending all this time talking about it. They're not even going to pick this.
Well, we fish and fish, 8-minute
game.
It is.
Welcome to the
and
life
then we
of a
repeat
caster.
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. But that Civ matchup, map control, matters so much. Not even more than the relics, I think. Relics are nice. I think Leary had like 4 relics or something in that matchup, if I'm getting the names right on that. It was 2 weeks ago, so my memory is is terrible, or a month ago or whatever. But I think having the forward castles and having tons of space to retreat as Bohemians is very valuable. If you're cramped up in your base against the artillery range of Turks, you are just done for, because your Hufnitsa can't even move. You can't even get out of the siege workshop to get any value. So.
Yeah, then you kind of like need to like build them very far back, try to squeeze in, but like Turk's range is so nice, and now we see the civilizations that we still have as options. Persians there, that's the big question mark to me, where we will see them. Like, is it Frigid Lake, fish Lithuanians, and probably Tatars on Arabia against Mayans? Doesn't excite me that much.
Well, I believe that Hindustanis was banned, right? Or was that sniped?
Banned, yeah. Banned before Japanese got sniped, and the first pick of Villese was Burgundians sniped.
So no Burgundians on Arabia then, and you're looking towards the Mayans, basically.
Yeah, Mayans, Arabia. It just feels like playstyle-wise, right? If we go Aztecs on Sheepfold, it feels like, okay, we are pretty close with Arabia, how the game should play out. And if you think Aztecs are good, then Mayans are good as well.
Yeah.
Already some technical difficulties. Both players are still sitting here. So not really sure what's happening. Taro still looks pretty relaxed. Villese, I never know how he feels.
Looks energized to me.
Okay.
Yeah, he looks happy.
Oh, and we get confirmation Arena will be the next map, so at least our pre-talk made some sense.
Yeah, I think Villese just wants to settle it down after that. I mean, that is a loss where I don't think he played too badly execution-wise. I think there was just a couple mistakes, and he got punished maybe from not playing that map enough. Maybe Tato being in the boot camp, practicing with the other GL members, talking about the map, identified something, especially abusing the rock terrain around the middle. Because he just kept coming in over and over and over again. And even when Villese had all that army to the left early in the game, Tato's just like, okay, I'll go through this pathway. That's fine. I'll avoid everything that you have.
I think he didn't, like, Villese didn't scout the whole...
Yeah, he thought it was...
Because he went around, right?
Yeah.
That also decreased his time, or like, he arrived late. Yeah, right? If he has an eagle, a spearman, and like 3 skirms, he could have harassed the wood a bit earlier, could have pressured the archers a bit more, and then it's tougher for Tato to move around like that.
Yeah. Also feels like Villese never tried to go through the rocks into Tato's base either. He just hung out on the wood line. He never pressured through there. Even when all the army was forward at his base, he never tried to pressure through there.
But with what units do we pressure? Skirms going through the center there. Obviously, quick walls to the town center are an option. You need eagles to dive, kind of.
MBL would.
MBL would.
Yeah, he'd send 4 skirmishers, no upgrades.
Harass.
I'm in his eco. All right, here we go. Game number 2, and we have Arena, and we see Cumans against Bohemians. So this is the approach you were talking about earlier.
Yeah, so Turks are kind of safe for Tato. And we felt like it feels very likely that Turks are going to be picked on this map. And now the big question mark, are they going to be picked on another one? For now, we're obviously working with the Cumans. As Dave mentioned earlier, we can build a town center in feudal age there, allowing you a crazy boom.
And you can build the siege workshop in feudal age as well if you really want to go for some intense pressure. But usually it's the 2 TC boom, and then it depends on the transition after that, right? You can go for that early castle age push. You could go for the tower rush because you know you have a better eco behind. Or you can go, as a lot of players often do, for a faster Imperial once you get to Castle Age, because you have so many resources in the bank, and you can set up a forward castle and start to push your opponent.
And just to repeat the strategy that Daud did against MBL with Cumans, it was against Burgundians though, so probably, was it against Burgundians? It was against MBL. And it was a tower rush, into, I think, no rams, but obviously the threat of rams was there. And then the second town center behind, the economy of the GL player was so much better. And then we saw MBL moving out, trying to get a forward running, but Doubt actually built spearmen and scouts to prevent that forward and had the better economy, and it ended before we even reached him on arena, which is atypical.
As we see Tato with 17 villagers, and he's actually queuing up 2 more. So I don't know what the population is with 9 villager starts for going up for that 2TC.
He's on stone. We will see it. This should be like 2 to 3 villagers on stone, and then 4 villagers, or maybe even 5 are moving forward, and Villese will face the tower rush. But look at Villese's base setup. He already, oh, look at that, Villese. He looks pretty, double pretty. And he already built the houses there because he knows, okay, a threat from that direction is very likely.
I am looking at his base, though, and it concerns me. Because if Tato ever does get in there, stone is forward, extra stone is way to the side.
Oh, no.
His secondary gold is forward, and his main gold is forward.
Oh, that was the big difference. MBL had those resources defensively, and that's why he could defend more. Oh, this is a really unfortunate spawn for Villese here.
Especially with the stone being the most forward of all those resources, too. But look at where he set up his houses, though, like right in front of the stone.
Yeah, I love
It's
that.
like, just in case. And we know Villese is a very safe player. And here we go, Tato, 1 minute and 15 seconds away from the feudal age. He's already sending 4 villagers forward. They're kind of bumping up against each other, trying to be the first one into the enemy lines.
And Villese missed it. He was here 30 seconds ago with the scout, scouted the edge of the gate, and well, the timing was a bit off there. Obviously, maybe a bit shaken off with the 6 villager start. And Villese, you can see, he scouted everything, knows about his stone here, but now he scouts the edge of the map, tries to go for the relics now. You try to have no gaps. He's not really countering that strategy. Goes for the small gold, but this will be pretty ugly for him.
I think a couple things that are going to help Villese. Free mining upgrades.
Oh, look at
When you're
that.
against this.
Villese was clever. His scout is inside. He thought about the possibility of Tato already tower rushing.
He saw the villagers before feudal even comes in. Now these walls have 1050 HP. It's not the old walls that had the or 1080. Sorry, it's not the old walls that had the 800 and what 50?
900. Yeah.
Yeah, 900 HP. So it was,
800 and another 100.
I was close enough. I was close enough. That were very easy to break through as Tato goes for the tower rush and immediately adds that second TC. So he's going to make things incredibly messy for Villese, and he's going to start adding economy behind and going to start really, really climbing in the villager count. Now Villese has a tricky decision to make. Does he go full defense, house walls, try and click up to Castle Age, get to those powerful units, or does he stay in feudal age a little bit longer, maybe go for some counter towers of his own? He's already on stone right now, so maybe thinking about a counter towers behind this house wall. I actually really like the house wall he's set up so far.
Yeah, obviously that's kind of vulnerable, right? But with the tower behind that, villagers can't really attack it, so I don't mind it too much. Maybe some small palisades
Waiting
between
for the
those area. Or does he want to build a market?
He wants to build a market, I think.
195 stone.
Really, really tough decision when you're walling against a tower forward like this is where to use your wood, right? Because the builds are so tight going for an FC. And Villese went up actually with 23 villagers up to the feudal age. So he didn't have much wood in the bank. He's going to use some of that for the market, synergize that with his wall, and then he's going to go for a blacksmith as well, which is coming up right now. And Tato's going to come in here. He's going to see the market, the blacksmith, and the houses. And now he's got to be concerned, even though the main gold is there, that he can't access really the stone yet. And he's not super delaying his enemy just yet.
A lot of houses forced, right? And Villese actually went for the wood upgrade. So he accepts, okay, I will go for some better economy, and only later will go into Castle Age. And if this tower goes up, I'm a bit surprised that Villese isn't counter-towering this. Because now, Tato actually has a proper spot to attack. Those 2 houses, I'm not sure if the second one will actually go up.
How long does it take Tato to get through those houses, though? Is it before Villese gets close to the Castle Age?
I think on the way to Castle Age, I think Villese needs to wall behind this and build the tower. So I probably would have liked to see the tower a bit earlier. But Tato, obviously 4 idle villagers at all this time and all the investment into towers, while Villese played pretty calm, still no tower here.
Yeah, and Tato, of course, adding villagers from 2 town centers behind. So he's going to have double working TCs as Villese's TC is working on the town center, or I'm sorry, it is working on the town center, but it's working on the Castle Age coming in here. And Villese has not lost any villagers yet, just now finishes that house and goes for a secondary house wall behind this. Also love the fact that Villese has set up all his farms on the back of his TC. Some players, when they get tower rush, they feel under all sorts of pressure, and they start clicking farms at the front, right within range of the potential towers, which can always be pretty burdensome later on. So Villese will get to Castle Age without taking significant damage.
Did he even sell 100 stone? I think
no, he doesn't. Or no.
He's at 200, and he's mining stone, right? I think he even sold 100 stone.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Now another tower. Look at population. Like, Villese won't get housed this game. It's 28 out of 70 already, and still 4 houses in production.
Tato even deleting that tower and going for one even farther forward. Not walling in these towers because he knows if Villese has something to push them back, it's probably not going to be villagers. It's going to be siege at this point. Villese still 40 seconds away from the Castle Age, and when he reaches Castle Age, Tato's only going to be about, what, 13 villagers ahead? 14 villagers ahead of him, so...
Well, and I think it will be more villagers for Tato. Well, are we adding town centers here? It looks like it. Siege Workshop, you asked about it. Do we really need to clear this up right now? I don't think so. Just one town center here, next to the woodline. One maybe next to the gold. And now then you can think, okay, maybe adding a... Okay, instant Siege Workshop. Okay.
Siege Workshop. I feel like you could have built the TC right beside that house.
Yeah, I think so as well.
And just, like, pressure down the tower and the villagers with the TC. A little bit of villager idle time as their garrison, but Villese goes for the TC on the left side. Also, Siege Workshop adds value for taking care of the rest of these towers and maybe pushing out towards the relics. I have to wonder, does Tato add a stable now to go into scouts?
I think he's adding the barracks, so that's the first step here, and stable makes a lot of sense. Scout still out on the map for Villese, goes for the Mangonel now, adds at least one town center for now. Still has 200 stone. I'm a bit surprised how long he stays on there. Next tower for Tato. Places it outside and goes for that gold. Ooh.
Yeah, and he's just trying to be annoying right now. He's trying to hold this center map control as long as possible. He knows that he's not going to do damage to Villese's eco, but maybe he can snipe a few monks. Maybe he can make Villese invest into some more as he's buying himself time to go up to Castle Age. He is 17 villagers ahead of Villese right now. That's going to start to even out a little bit as Villese gets this second TC up, and Tato still needs to click up to the Castle Age, but he's holding his map control and he's investing into some militaries. We see 2 scouts being queued there from the Spaniards, so he's going to try and deny those relics coming back to Villese's base.
Yeah, but double Mangonel for now. Villese, I think he will accept, okay, I won't play with a lot of relics for quite some time. The relic fight a bit delayed here for sure. And some people might feel like, okay, this tower rush could have been even more efficient if we denied those resources for longer. But remember, humans don't have access to stone walls, therefore walling in that main gold, not really an option.
I find it interesting that Villese still has those 2 villagers on stone. I'm wondering what he's planning with that, because it feels like if you really want a castle at some point, you might as well just put the mining camp there.
Or the third town center goes there. No, goes at the wood line. Yeah, it feels a bit weird to me as well. Maybe early wheelbarrow could have compensated for that. Like, why do you need 190 stone right now?
I don't know. Maybe he's not thinking about it. Maybe he's just thinking, I like having stone in the bank. I'm going to keep them on there. I have the 2 free mining upgrades for the stone.
Yeah.
Ooh, scouts coming in immediately from Tato, and that's a great house wall there from Villese, just closing things up. Those scouts get in, especially with a player of Tato's skill. They could be extremely annoying in the back of Villese's eco, and Villese still has not even gone for a monastery here.
Yeah, annoying and getting the intel, right? Then Tato knows, okay, how heavily are you on stone? Are you playing 3 town centers? Are you adding a monastery, right? And then Tato can adjust so much better. That option now taken away by Villese because he rewalls so nicely. Village advantage, around 20, as you mentioned, will be evened out pretty soon. The big question is, what is the next step for Tato? If he keeps 5 villages on stone, it feels like Kipchaks is the next step.
Kipchaks, I have biases against that unit, as many people know. I don't think it's a particularly good unit. I think the last time I saw it in this matchup was Hera trying to beat Tato, I believe, and Hera got absolutely destroyed by bomber cannons and Hufnitsa as he tried to play Kipchak. So, and there's the Halb. Once you mix that in too, it's very, very difficult, and it just feels like a wasted investment. Forward Castle, though, and a faster Imperial Age time could be good.
Yeah. We've seen that multiple times, actually. Humans, obviously this economy is crazy good now, and you collect all those resources on the way to Castle Age. Work efficiency is crazy good. Villager's still out there. He has all the map control. Look at how he's spreading out his scouts now on the minimap. Like 4 blue dots moving around, trying to find all the relics, seeing if there might be some sneaky shenanigans of Villese happening. Not happening here. So Tato knows, I have the full map control. I can dictate how the game looks like, and he builds the forward siege workshop.
Yep, and that's because he had the scouts on the field, like you said, and invested into that early. Also going to the forward stone outside of his base. So he's keeping villagers out there, and he's definitely thinking about this. Everything about this tells me he's thinking about a forward castle. He might even be thinking
Fast imp.
Potentially, like, fast imp, that's what his resources are telling us. But even getting, like, capped ram early on the way up to imp and starting with a push.
If the opponent already has 2 defensive mangonels, then your castle needs to be really aggressive. But Tato maybe still thinks, I'm controlling that gold. If I build a castle in your face next to this gold spot after I win the mangonel fight here, it's looking really good for me because faster imp. What's the answer there for Villese? Then he needs to rush to him, needs to get faster chemistry, obviously pretty nice for him, but that guarantees Tato 5 relics, for example.
I think it's extremely telling that the first monk Villese is queuing right now is at the same time that Tato queues a monk. Like, Tato's entire strategy is trying to keep Villese off of the relics in the middle. Is Villese, can he not range that mining camp? He's just attack grounding the gold to get to the mining camp?
Yeah, and some people feel like, okay, 69 villagers against 66 now. It is pretty even, but the actual collect, ooh, nice one.
And that means that the castle can go just a little bit more forward now with that snipe. So great job there from Tato. Villese's Mangonel is going to have to weasel its way through all these buildings to get over there. And Tato almost has enough for a castle as Villese is now going for a university.
Second market?
And a second market.
He doesn't
trust the market at the front.
Okay. What I wanted to say, villagers are pretty even now, but the gathered resources are so much better for the Cuban player because he had more villagers for so long. Castle more defensively than we expected, Dave.
Interesting. I guess
no.
He's not taking any risks, right? He knows he's in the driver's seat right
And the block here. Scouts is blocking. Maybe he saves the Mangonel.
Nope.
That's it. Yoink.
And almost nukes his own scouts.
But human work right faster, the scouts, so therefore it could chase it down. And no intel. Did Villese see the castle here? That's the big question. Could we check the POV there?
I don't think he was within range to see that. How much you want to bet? I think he didn't see it.
I'm not a betting man.
Okay, you're not a betting man. All right. 4 TC here from Villese at the back. And he's going to continue his boom. He's also on the way to Imperial Age. And of course, bomber cannons, not something that the Cumans get access to. And Villese can have them immediately upon reaching Imperial Age. Once again, though, the golds forward are going to be an issue for him. The lack of relics are going to be an issue for him. And he's going to have to get something done a little bit earlier here in Imperial Age to really kick Tato off of this position.
Okay, let's take a look. Mangonel can maybe even reach the bit of the stone there. And what units are we going for? Oh, Step Lancers and Petards. This will be a late Castle Age aggression. And there's no real units, right? We have not a single unit. We don't even have the pike upgrade. Oh, this could be some ugly harassment at this gold and stone. This gold's still open. If you bomb those gates at the front, this castle has to finish.
I think you're really going to need enough, though. Like, Tato's going to come in here with 4 scouts, 2 Step Lancers, without the first, like, with just the first armor upgrade. And Villese already has, 4 barracks set up now, and he's going for the castle defensively. Like, he should be fine. I think, if anything, this might be a little bit of a wasted investment here from Tato. Villese also has the outpost, so he sees exactly what's happening, right? There's no secret here.
Nice. 3 spearmen as well. Petar's still out of range. So sees the Step Lancers. Not really sure what his reaction should be against that. Also 2 monks. But we will have the 5 relics against none. And chemistry finished. So Villese, he gets to his dream army, which is Halberdier, Hufnice later on.
Yeah, and unfortunately for Tato, his dream army in this Civ matchup is, I wish I wasn't in this Civ matchup. Assuming the Bohemians player has gold. Here comes Tato. Villese saw that from way far away, and he's going to choose to convert a Step Lancer and maybe a Kipjack, but the monk actually goes down. The castle, however, is up, and Tato can't push very far here as Villese already has pikemen. Villese, 40 on food as well. So he's done a really good job with the macro here.
Yeah, 4 town centers, lots of farms still in the back. Sometimes it can get a bit tight, but has enough space in the back. Tato's economy looks solid as well. Also at 40 farmed, but obviously 5 relics ticking for him at all times. Trying to rewall, not allowed by Tato. Not allowed by Tato, I said.
Is allowed by... No.
Not allowed.
He won't allow it.
Allowed by Tato.
He will allow it. Villagers now coming back. Did we say if Villese got fervor earlier?
Oh, I didn't. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, if you knew how fast monks are typically...
If we check a villager speed, I can see. He does not have fervor, right?
Ooh.
He only has wheelbarrow.
Okay, so upgrade there in the monastery working for the villagers, so could increase HP, could increase movement speed, something that Villese forgot. Population pretty close. Tato heavily going for upgrades. He is ready to play the very long game. Obviously knows my gold income will be so much better, and I have quite some nice map control, right? He still controls one of the gold of Villese at the front.
Also, Hufnitsa takes so long.
To upgrade, yeah.
It takes like 2 minutes, 2 minutes and 10 seconds, something like that. We could have seen it when it was clicked, but you can see it already has 1 minute and 35 seconds left on that upgrade. And of course, only 1 more bombard cannon in the queue, so the numbers aren't going to be insane. Also, Halberdier, which is a massive upgrade, is not yet in. That requires more gold, which you want to put into the bombard cannon. So it's going to be pretty difficult for Villese here to stall at this early pressure from Tato. And in the back of his mind, he's got to be thinking, man, this guy has 5 relics.
Sneaky by Villese, though, that he gets the gold and the stone on the outset. Something that Tato could have controlled if he had a light cap there or some outpost. So maybe something he could have done a bit better. Now let's take the look at the engagement. Kipchak's pretty good against pikemen.
Yeah, well, everything's pretty good against pikemen, so I don't know.
What about knights?
Well, according to Hera, they're pretty good as well. Parthian tactics also coming in for Tato. That's going to be a nice little upgrade. And chemistry coming in for him as well, as the Trebs are set up here. Unfortunately for Tato, those Trebs can't really range anything of value other than maybe sniping some Ufnitsa.
Let's take a look. Going for the gate. Ram at the right-hand side being annoying. We get the unique tech here in Castle Age for Villese. That is movement speed?
Yep. Movement speed for all gunpowder units. And we see capped rams now pushing in from Tato. That's a nice distraction. You can tell Villese has no idea that's going on right now. The Step Lancer's getting some value. Light Cav coming in as well. And Hufnitsa are the big threat right now. But if Tato can make this game messy, if Tato can make Villese focus on 3 areas at once, he might lose some of these Hufnitsa into some bad trades. The Kipchaks are doing what feels like nothing against these, and they're just getting folded over. This is what I was talking about, dude. This is what I was talking about. Those Kipchaks don't stand a chance.
It is Castle Age Kipchaks, though, right? The queue is pretty long there with 15, only 2 castles. They would have loved to see a third one that's being built in the back now. Tato still not taking all the gold. I would love to see some raids at the bottom where Villese is getting gold and stone that he really shouldn't.
Great attack grounds on his own pikeman. That guy's got to be wondering what he did, but he finally clears up the other Kipchaks over there. And nice attention to detail here from Villese. He saved that 1 HP Hufnitsa, and now he sends a villager forward to repair, and it's like the damage never happened as Halberdier is in. 38 of them are on the field right now. Kipchaks still under threat, and that was a massive
trap hit
shot there from Tato as he is fortunate to take out 2 Hufnitsa.
Yeah. Costliest unit in the game, so nice snipes there for sure. Tato now adding what looks like to be some stables. That's an optimistic castle, but feels like he can get it up. And that's actually barracks. So is he adding Halberdiers against Halberdier Hufnitsa?
I mean, we never quite know what Tato's up to. I don't
to the man-at-arm direction.
No, he's getting pikemen right now. So that's a very, very interesting choice. It feels like you're just trying to buy yourself time at that point, trying to run Villese out of gold.
Tato finally has the resource to click Elite. Kipchak obviously really costly there on food and wood. Now gets it in the back. I'm thinking he will wait another 40 seconds and then we'll try to force a big engagement, but that means Villese will also finish his castle there and secures the gold.
I don't think that Elite upgrade gets him that much, but we'll see. We'll see.
Really
like I said, I'm not a believer in this unit at all. Like, it's just let me down so many times. I think 2 hits from a Halberdier is enough to fold one of them.
That bad?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, maybe you micro them, Dave. What do you
Well,
think about that?
that's, yep. You're better than I am, I suppose, as the Hufnitsa keep pushing out. And the Trebs from Tato now coming forward again. We'll see if he can get more fortunate shots here on these Hufnitsa as the Kipchaks are massing up, and they are elite. He does have ballistics. He does have Parthian tactics. He's keeping them on staggered formation to avoid the shots from Villese, but he has to respect the Halberdiers that do so much damage as the Kipchaks are coming in once again. Trebs are trying to snipe the Trebs from Villese, but the Kipchaks, it feels like Villese is just waiting for that one big moment to clear them up.
Tato, he needs to save that castle. He's down to only 2 castles here. He doesn't really get onto the production, Dave. If this one falls, the Kipchaks numbers will never rise
Also,
again.
Siege Engineers coming in for Villese.
Ooh,
So that's going to
13
make things
range.
extremely tough as the pikemen come out, and Villese's going to be like, pikemen? Okay, I'm fine with that. Halberdier also on the way for Tato. Tato, remember, still has 5 relics. So if Tato can hold Villese in this position for another like 20 minutes, he's in a really good spot. But Villese feels like he's just a couple more Hufnitsa and some more Halberdier production away from pushing back that castle and pushing across the middle of the map.
Also weird that Tato just dove in with like 15 to 20 pikemen shortly before Halberdier finished. Maybe he could have found another kill against Hufnitsa there. The numbers are looking pretty scary there. Yeah, Scorpion mixed in for killing pikemen.
Yeah. What do you think about wagons? More wagons from Villese.
To protect a bit, right?
Yeah.
Against the Halberdiers.
And
Yeah, I
like,
wouldn't mind
what is Tato have that really does any damage to them right now?
Well, I think I don't like to hear it, but I think Kipchaks are actually not that bad.
I haven't seen that matchup. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
It's not a very common one that we see on a regular basis. How many Hufnitsa now? 8 of them. Oh, that castle is gonna fold. They have siege engineers as well, and Tato's building up for a big push here. Halberdier is still in front from Villese though. He's getting Bodcanero as well, and he's setting up that forward castle. Now he has access to more stone, his secondary gold in the front, and almost the neutral gold in the middle there.
He tries to build some more siege workshops at the right side, tries to spread the Bohemian player thin. Obviously, this is kind of an unkillable army through the center, but if we attack at 3-4 different angles, then it gets a bit more tricky. Now, hand cannoneers being added by Villese.
Yeah, hand cannoneers to deal with the Halberdiers, although it doesn't really even need anything to deal with the Halbs. It's just kind of a meat shield right now.
Already has a Scorpion.
Yeah, exactly. I think what Tato is going to try and do is set up siege workshops on the right side and then try and push in maybe with like siege rams or capped ramps or something like that. Try and open a hole into Villese's base and distract him like you were talking about. So valuable here. Those Kipchaks are in a dangerous position.
Oh, he's trying to split now.
Yeah.
Left side, trying to get some kills there against the villages on the stone. Right side, maybe making the go happen. But look at that. Siege workshops already scouted by Villese. Nice awareness.
Yeah. Tato's just building up army, but for what? Like, how can he break these castles here? He's going to have a big army of siege rams, trebs. I mean, he's trying to distract Villese, but Villese's already found the siege rams on the right side. He's going to kill the barracks that Tato needs for more production to stream units in the hole once he makes it. And he's just going to deal with this army. He's not going to let Tato distract him at all.
But Villese, if he goes to the right side, that means that Tato is keeping his castle and his monastery alive, right? We were only 1 screen away from getting to those 2 crucial buildings.
1 Hufnitsa versus all of those Kipchaks. I wonder who wins. We'll check back shortly. As, Tato trying to go for a siege workshop over there. Villese maybe forgetting that he patrolled that unit over to that side. No, still microing it. Okay. And Tato tries to set up another forward base of operations, but he is losing his barracks behind this. Kipchaks are kind of hiding behind the siege workshops, so they don't want to get anywhere close to this army. Now, Tato still has 5 relics, but Villese is now gaining control of all the neutral golds, all the neutral stones. So that's going to keep him alive a little bit longer. And he has 1,500 gold in the bank.
Oh, that's so nice indeed. Well, he only mainly builds Halberdiers right now. Now even adds in some skirmishes to deal with Kipchak Halberdier. So we need to see some hussars. That raid at the left-hand side will be pretty inefficient as well.
Les is like, come out of the corner. Come out and play, Tato. I know you've been avoiding me for too long, but I want some big shots, buddy. He's got the hand cannons there. He's got 74 military, and the value of this military is pretty insane as well. We look at the gold value there, 8,485 for Villese.
Those siege workshops going down, and Villese, it feels like he's winning the long game while he's fighting 5 against 0 relics.
Yeah.
Right? Simply because Hufnica is such a crazy unit that he feels, okay, if I don't screw up and if you don't somehow randomly overwhelm me while I'm out of position, I should be winning the late game.
Well, he's done such a good job engaging with them too. He's only lost 2, and those were to the 2 Treb shots.
Yeah.
And that means that he could tech switch because he had the gold, he had the resources to get all these tech switches into the hand cannons, into the halberdier upgrades and whatnot, without continuing to reinforce his Hufnica numbers as he comes forward now for that neutral gold. And this is just not looking... It's not looking very good for Tato. I don't want to sugarcoat it here, as his push on the left side is basically his one hope right now. He's going to have to try and distract Villese enough to maybe get some good engagements. And there we go. There's 2 Hufnica going down.
Okay, nice. No traps for Tato, though. The problem is, like, Tato only has 2 castles right now, right? So he can't really go into traps because he wants to keep those castles running with Kipchak production.
And the Kipchaks are falling back on the right side. Kipchaks are being built in the center, but that's the castle. And that's the second last castle for Tato as he gets... Is that Cuban mercenaries?
He's going for it.
Okay. So
Yeah.
he wants some free ones.
It should be. We're up to 40 now. Population at 185, but that's so tricky, right? And Rams are pretty bad against Bohemians.
Yep.
Because those Rams, if they close the distance against the castles, the Hufnica already will shrek them trying to get there. You need traps, and that's the big problem. That Tato already lost like 3 castles this game. This, I think, is the 4th castle going down.
How are you feeling about the Kipchaks so far?
Great unit, just misplayed by this poor player.
Copium.
They feel underwhelming, Dave.
Yes, they do. I agree. Thank you. Thank you for confirming my point. Forward base, I mean, it's a barracks and a half left over essentially here for Tato. He did clear up 2 Hufnica there, so a little bit sloppy from Villese, but Villese is fully focused on this main area. Tato going for another castle in the back. Villese has 3,000 gold in the bank, and he is the player without the 5 relics. Tato has that advantage, and I actually want to know where is the monastery with the relics? Is that forward?
Yeah, it is. He was already trying to move the relics there. As you can see, 2 outside here, and try to juggle them a bit back, but like, Villese keeps pushing, right? How far do we want to juggle them back? Outside of the map?
There's not a lot of space for activities at the back of Tato's space right now. It's getting kind of clogged up there as Villese is he's in the driver's seat, and Tato goes for more siege workshops. He knows he needs to get in. He needs Villese to be distracted. Those are his win conditions, basically his opponent making a mistake, because I think even if Tato plays perfectly here, there's not a fight he can take effectively to give him a good position to push back the castles from Villese. Villese is so comfortable that we see something we don't often see from him, which is an extremely forward castle. That's how good of a position he's in right now.
Look at the road of castles Villese built.
Yeah,
Look
one
at that.
step
That's
at
a
a
starting
time.
castle,
Yep.
then 3, and now he takes a bigger step because he knows I can push this far.
Exactly. Now Tato, well, still has Hussar, still has Kipchak. He's got 41 Kipchaks. He's got 14 Hussar with a bunch more in the queue. He's at 200 population, so like he doesn't have much space, but he's got a whole lot of units on the field right now. It still just feels so rough as he loops around with the Hussar, and he's going to try and take out these Hufnica. Maybe getting 1, maybe getting 2.
Higo is getting the 3rd one right now, and now all the Rams died though. There's nothing to kill this castle.
Nope.
1 single trap, 1 single Ram, that's not enough there to really pressure that area. 3 Hufnica still alive. Halberdiers are pushing forward, and Tato took an okayish fight, but there's no siege to follow this one up because he's so starved on those castles.
Yeah, and look at the amount of barracks that Villese had producing those halberdiers too. He had so many barracks, and immediately after losing that army, he's going to recover it once again. I'd love to see a selection of those, just like 2 remaining Hufnica or 4 remaining, and see how many kills that they have. They have 30 kills. Wow! 30 kills, and that's not including the 3 that died earlier.
Yeah.
That is an insane amount of value from just a few units.
Hussar's diving again though. Nice positioning there by Villese, now spreading those around. Kipchaks are moving in, and Tato looks like he takes a very reasonable fight, and I think all 3 of Nietzsche died. No, 1's still alive.
There's 1. It's underneath the castle.
It's sniped now as well.
Yeah. Rams going down. Tato still trying to make more Rams, and he still has 1,700 gold in the bank. So Villese is now going to have to queue up some more of Nitsa, and he's gone for 5 extras, but only from 2 Siege Workshops. So he makes a few more Siege Workshops forward, still struggling to push Tato, but like we said, that castle is the issue, right? And Villese has stone in the bank to repair that. He's got villagers forward. Only 1 trebuchet for Tato. That survives as long as it takes Villese to get another Nitsa forward.
Yeah, he only has 3 Siege Workshops producing right now. Halberdiers are going down. Villese, he's not really getting the numbers at the front. Skirm numbers a bit on the low side. And Tato, I think those traps are doing work, is back to his 5 relics pretty soon. Tato is playing this extremely well. Just looks like Villese is so methodical, and the Nietzsche is so incredibly strong.
Yeah, like I said, I mean, even if Tato plays this the best he possibly can, he has to wait for Villese to make a mistake. And Villese kind of made a mistake there in that he didn't have enough Siege Workshops, and they weren't far enough forward, sorry. So he has to bring those all the way from the back, and they're going to be slow, even with his unique tech. Hand cannons are now here. That's going to help keep these protected, and there we go. Rolling in there is the first Nitsa of the reinforcements that are incoming. And this is going to be something that Tato has to respect with those Kipjacks, and he's going to have to keep army in front of that Treb to keep it protected.
Hussars, they need to suicide. Can he click the Nietzsche? Let's take a look. Halberdiers goes to the left side, and Tato, it's so easy to misclick here, but he found the right click and goes back. Nice snipe by Tato.
Yeah, nice snipe there. He did lose a few Kipjacks in that engagement, and he lost all of his Hussar, and now Villese is at a very concerning 70 military with 9 more on the field and 6 in the queue, so they're coming. Tato bought himself just a moment of peace where he could potentially think about sniping down that castle. Now he's losing more units. Oh boy.
Big hits here, and look at that. Villese is just rolling over Tato here. It still looks like somewhat of a fair fight with the Hussars raiding, and Tato is trying to make some more attacks happen, tries to force Villese into some mistake, but that army looks so strong.
There goes the Treb. Bye-bye, and the Kipchaks will likely follow as there's just too many Halberdiers now to protect that army. I love the attempt from Tato to keep going here, to keep trying to make it messy, getting more villagers out to the right side there, and I think that might be a threat to Villese, as he only has 98 gold now in the bank.
Yeah, Villese built like 12, no, he built like 17 of Nietzsche, right?
Yep.
In the last like 2-3 minutes. So burned through everything, no golden come for him. So in a wild world, Tato snipes those and can keep the numbers low, but how do you ever kill those? They're so well protected.
Yeah, and once you get rid of the castles from Tato, suddenly you can just go scrim help, and everything feels fine. You don't even need the siege as much anymore. Like 1 or 2 of them will do, and there goes the castle on the left side. That's a castle Tato essentially bought to help himself in defense. And
Tato is moving as if it's regicide. Look at that. He pushes with siege now, moves around, tries to snipe a king.
Where's the monastery? That's the only thing that matters right now. Oh, it's all the way at the back there. That's in a threatening position now as Villese takes control over the middle of his base. Tato is going to try for one last push here, and he's going to have to hope with this push that it forces Villese to bring all of the army back, and that's a lot of siege rams. He's been building up for a while, but I think he's going to call it here as Villese is really deep inside of his economy. Villese ties this one up 1-1.
Oh, really well played there by Villese. And that was a lot of pressure, right? It's not easy to weather that storm. It was the tower rush, massive amount of houses, completely... He didn't even build a defensive tower, right? Yeah. It is typically the go-to strategy, trying to defend, trying to stall the push. He just built the houses, defensive siege workshop, early town center, and that's why his economy was so good. And then the defense and the perfect timing with the castle there, stopping the very late castle attack from Tato.
If we want to get really deep into it, maybe the 3 houses that Villese built at the very beginning of the game against the wall, Tato scouted that. He said, I'm going to go to the right. He goes to the right, only the main gold there. The stone isn't on the other side.
And he went to the other gold.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah, I think Villese looked at his base, and in a split second, he was like, this is my risk factor. If he pushes me there, I might as well put my towers along this side. He had to send a villager all the way out to the wall to build those. He didn't have any vills working near there. And maybe that forced Tato over to the right side instead. And then Villese had access to stone.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we're getting way too deep into it. But that's what we're here for.
I think he could have thought of that, yeah. Also didn't wall behind the gate, right? Knows that has more HP.
Yeah.
Interesting. That could have been very far thinking ahead, right? But I mentioned it, like, it wasn't like the strategy that the human player was going for the tower rush. And we have to question, like, should he have gone for Turks now that he lost? Maybe some hindsight knowledge?
Yeah, I think like with Cumans, if you don't get in, if the Bohemians player gets the Huvnitsa, you're really struggling. Like if you're not constricting them anyway. If Tato had castles on the edge of the wall from Villese, maybe that's a different story. But if the Imperial times were too close actually for that. Now thinking about it, Villese clicked up the same time as Tato.
Yeah, but Tato had the better economy, right? Yeah. He had more units. If those units that he invested late Castle Age didn't really go into, and then he blocks the gold and stone at the side, maybe then Villese is more constricted, and then he can't get to that crazy of Nietzsche count and can't move forward with all those castles.
Yeah.
Earlier, Elite Kipchak, and we had those fights with like 8 Harbiers, 2 of Nietzsche against like 10 Kipchaks. If those are elite, if we can get the unique tech with it as well, keep one castle alive a bit longer, Tato has maybe a chance.
I don't think that unit is... Anyway, we go into our next map. And it's game 3, and it's going to be Tato's pick now. So Tato, does he go for Fish and Fish? Does he go for Frigid Lake?
Fish and Fish is confirmed. Japanese was his first pick. It got sniped away, and therefore, likely option, Lithuanians could be Frigid Lake or Fish and Fish. I see it on Fish and Fish now.
Okay. So you're thinking Lithuanians, because of the extra food that they get, is going to be really valuable getting up to the next stage, going for likely... men-at-arms or drush into archers, or men-at-arms into archers. I don't think we see players going for the dock too much anymore. I think that's too vulnerable, especially with the starting scout being able to snipe the fish. Usually going to the mill, and the Civ selection for Villese, I see him having a couple options here. He has Dravidians, which should be good synergy there with the cheaper upgrades for the infantry, and also getting 200 wood extra. It should allow you to get the archer range blacksmith up, or double archer range if you want to go that route sooner. Khmer, you can hide in the houses in the center there. Fast up times for them as well. And then Mongols I've seen picked here a few times just to get up to feudal age a little bit faster.
We also have to think like likely that the other shift, like Mayans, I kind of push away already for Arabia. So those 3 are the only options. And I think Khmer won't be played. And then the big question, Dravidians or Mongols, where do you distribute them? Fish and Fish or Frigid Lake? I could see Dravidians for Fish and Fish simply because your men-at-arm rush is so strong. And you can follow it up with skirms, fighting for that center, get that tower up. And once you get the center control, it's already looking really good for you. And Mongols probably for Frigid Lake, fast uptime, early fire galleys.
Khmer for Frigid Lake is not bad either. Khmer is really good on Frigid Lake.
I don't think so. I think they are okay-ish, but they're not as good as on Empire War settings, right? Because water is so much more important on Frigid Lake if we go for the +6 villagers, because fighting for water is so much more important if you go for water, if you have like 18, 19 villagers compared to like 30 villagers in Empire Wars.
Well, here we are in Villese.
What?
Well, he's gone for Khmer, and that was our third option there. It's for Villese. And Khmer, like I said, it's a decent option on this map, because look at this. He goes right out to the mill, no worries whatsoever. He's going to drop a house beside that mill, and he's going to be able to garrison his villagers inside. So he's going to have a really, really nice start here with lots of fast food income from these shorefish. It's called Fish and Fish, but it should be called Fish and Turtles. But, you know, turtles, well...
Fish and turtles.
Fish and turtles.
I like turtles.
Yeah, exactly. That has a marketing ring or something, surely.
Oh, you don't know the meme?
No, I do.
Okay. And Khmer, now the big question is, what are they going for early feudal age? Most of the time, because you save those barracks, you can go for 2 archer ranges, but then you have to go for like an archer skirm mix, not really using that deep fish too much if you go for too many archers, or the shorefish.
Yeah, and I just wonder, like, what are the uptimes going to look like for both of these players? Are they both clicking up with like 18 pop? Are they both going up 19 pop? Does the Khmer player go up faster because they went to the shorefish first? Right now, it looks like Tato has a decent food bank in there, and he was pulling in his second elephant.
Tato now going for the center. It should be slightly faster for Lithuania, simply because they start with 150 extra food. But Villese, I think he shouldn't be too far behind. Maybe it's like 18 villagers versus 19 villagers. Oh, Tato goes up with 17 villagers. Okay.
Yeah.
And same goes for Villese. Okay. If he gets enough food, though, look at 300 food. Can he drop enough in his town center?
Well, he's got the village. He's got the villagers on the fish as well, and they have 120 on their arms, so he should be fine. He clicks up 2 seconds of idle TC time, though, Nilly. Big talking point there. That's the difference up to the Feudal Age. Villese has already scouted the area in the center that Tato has claimed as his own. I don't know what Tato has scouted yet. He probably saw those villagers on the mill. I think both players are just going to assume from the score and from the meta so far that neither one has gone for a dock, and I'd be surprised to see them scouting the shorelines out there.
It's shocking that how much impact those 2 alligators in the center of the map sometimes make.
Yep.
Right? If you move forward here, you're the first, eat those 2 crocodiles, and then you go into villager war, tower rush, and you lose a villager before. It can be really ugly. So it's kind of important that you actually avoid those 2.
Yeah, and they are always there, by the way, with every single map generation. Their vision isn't much, but once they lock onto you, they never let go. And Villese doing the dock check. Okay, he's doing a little bit of a dock check. Tato score a little bit ahead of his. Usually if they had a dock, it would be more than that, so it could give you maybe an indication. But just making sure that that Tato isn't on the water there and isn't fishing, as Tato has his barracks up and he'll likely go for an archer range after this, or does he go... Both go stable.
Both skipping men-at-arms. It will be archer range opening. And obviously Skirm, Spearmen, quite an interesting composition against only archer range. That could be quite some pressure here. I think we need a defensive tower here, Villese here. Oh, maybe he's pulling those 2 crocodiles. Just pathing? No, he is pulling those.
He has to attack it first. He's like, hey, man, what are you doing? You messing around or something?
Oh, look at that.
Come after me. And Villese will just say, haha, I can jump in my houses. But Tato says, haha, that's idle time, as Villese takes care of the spearman. And he's going to, well, just chase these crocodiles away, and they will come around the other side.
Scout killed the villager. Now first Spearman and Skirma coming over. Not a lot of HP done, but look at that. Production already rolling for Tato. Villese only now finished the archer range.
Yeah, I mean, he was building up with 2 vills, but like you said, the scout coming around the other side and killing the villager, kind of nice in these engagements. And the thing is, on a map like this where the box turtles are so valuable, if you lose this, you essentially a lot of times lose the game. These early engagements where you're losing an odd villager or a scout or a half HP on a unit can matter so much.
Nice move behind the scenes. Villese pulls his villagers away from gold. Knows, okay, you go Skirm, Spearmen. I only need Skirms. I don't need any villagers on gold. Second mill here in the center. 2 skirms out now. But those spearmen, they can chase down the skirms. And they're so much faster with Lithuanians.
Yep.
Oh, scout down as well.
Added bonus there is Villese. He lost HP on that scout earlier in an engagement against the spearman. Maybe a little bit sloppy. He was paying attention to other things. But he loses the scout now. And he is losing HP on his skirmishers from spearmen of all things, as Tato is just controlling this game right now. He's got those 3 skirmishers being a nuisance. Spearmen also getting value, now misclicked onto the arch range. No, they were attacking another skirm. Oh my goodness, what is going on for Villese? Oh, he's got 5 skirmishers queued in that 1 archer range.
Look at his wood. He could have afforded a second archer range. He's just pushed back so far. Now goes for 2 farms on a map where you have so many box turtles in the center. Horrible scenario for him. Tato goes for the blocks, tries to get that villager.
Yeah, Tato is just playing so well in these little micro engagements. There's 1 HP left on the villa. He snipes the villager. Villese can't even make a switch, a YOLO switch into scouts or anything to deal with the skirms because there's so many spearmen being added in here. And Tato keeps adding in spearmen. He's got 2 in the queue. He still doesn't have any upgrades from the blacksmith as Villese now goes for a second archer range. But he's just harassing this fishing economy, and Villese just can't keep his units alive long enough, Nilly.
KD is surprisingly close for that we see 1 against 10 military. That really shows you that Tato is constantly producing out of 2 military buildings, while Villese only 1 archer range.
The deaths that Tato has had have been spearmen.
No.
And that's the big difference here. I mean, he's still got 5 skirmishers massed up. Every time he sees a skirmisher from Villese, he's like, I need to take that out. I can't let Villese mass. If I kill a villager along the way, that's fantastic. I'll take that one too. And he just keeps making these trash units. If this was like Hidden Cup, I would say this was MBL or something.
Yeah.
Making so many spearmen, making so many skirmishers coming forward. But it's working. It is working. And one thing that has to be said here, Villese, I think not fully taking advantage of the Khmer house bonus with some of these villagers hopping inside. But then again, the houses weren't on the correct side where the engagements were happening.
And Sniper Reno 2 HP. Oh,
nope.
Gets away there. Nice move. And yeah, playstyle-wise could be MBL, but MBL would be Burmese here.
Something like that. +1 on the spears, though. All right, so Tato sees another skirm army, and he's like, I can't let him mass this, as Villese just has his archer ranges in such an awkward position. Now, he can't mass the army, and Villese calls the GG there, and Tato takes that one, and that he just made that look so easy. Came forward with the Lithuanians. Spearman makes such a big difference there. Villese can't add Spearman of his own because he used the Khmer bonus of not needing a barracks to make the archer range.
Yep. He needed the second archer range so much faster, and the scout loss was very, very bad for him, obviously. He needed to kill the scout of Tato. At least he did that, which was actually quite surprising that Tato traded this one off, one scout against one villager, but delayed the archer range so long, and then we had like 4 military units out while Villese was only sitting at 1, and there, easy snowball, Tato, great control.
And the prioritization on what he's attacking, right? He's not just picking away at the edges. He sees a skirmisher, he's like, gotta kill that. Sees another skirm, gotta kill that. And then once the skirms are gone, there's no army to contest with. Just has his spearmen attacking random villagers, his skirmishers attacking villagers. He killed like 4 villagers with no fletching skirms.
Yeah.
Like that is crazy value.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
So annoying for sure. And now Villese's next home map will be Arabia. I'm expecting maybe some matchup that I'm not that familiar with. Could be Mayans against Tatars.
Yeah, we're thinking about
maybe Turks?
Mayans,
Turks? Don't tell me Turks
I don't think
on Arabia.
Mayans Turks is that bad of a matchup for Turks, though. Is it?
Do we go mass Lightcav constantly?
You go scouts definitely into Lightcav.
Scouts into Lightcav, and what do you do against lots of archers? Early Castle Age timing.
More Lightcav? I mean, it is Turks, right? More Lightcav?
Frigid Lake, we think Persians against Mongols or Dravidians are options now. And Mayans on Arabia feels very likely. I can't see Persians on Arabia.
No. Persians is definitely, if it is going to be picked, it's a Frigid Lake pick. Tatars more likely. Turks, question mark. Villese, we do have Mongols still available. That feels more like a Frigid Lake style pick for the early water control. And Mayans, well, Mayans are basically an OG Arabia Civ.
Yeah, absolutely. Basically, since they've been released, right? Yeah, so many people always played them. Obviously, we had the Hans era, but Mayans always considered, like, for a long time, we considered them to be, like, the second best after Aztecs. Yeah, at some point.
And that was before even, that was before the Eagles could be upgraded in Castle Age, too. That's how good they are.
And you couldn't build them in Feudal Age.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, Villese Arabia. What should go through his mind? He just had a game, 12 minutes in, never really had a shot in that one.
I think Arabia for Villese, analyze the map when you get in, see if you can play defensively, and if you can, just play a little defensively. Get to 3 TC, if you're playing Mayans especially. Get up there, that's your comfort zone, that's where you operate. And 3 TC Villese is a very dangerous thing. His macro is insane. He never takes bad fights, it feels like, when he's in that stable position. And then just slowly try and exert your control. Because I think Mayans, up against Tatars, up against Turks, up against what Tato has left, I think they're just the better civilization. And here's the matchup right here. Tatars for Tato, Mayans for Villese. And I'm looking at Villese's map right now, and it looks like a pretty good map. Aside from the stone being forward, berries are at the back, gold is at the back, wood lines, wallable. Even that stone at the back is wallable. I think this should play into his hands a little bit.
Yeah, in the old days we would have called this a Drush FC map, right? When walls were so much better, it's just so easy to wall. He already pushes some deer, and well, this one will be really tough for Tato to find lots of damage there. This is the dream. This is exactly what we said Villese needed. A good map to get to 3TC, to play a controlled game. And then Tatars, they need to find some major damage in Castle Age, because imp-wise, I think if Mayans get to their dream army, it will get tricky.
What do we think about Step Lancer here in this matchup?
Well, this Tato.
Yeah.
So, absolutely an option.
If Villese goes into Eagles, I mean, Step Lancer is a good option against Eagles. It's just how many archers does he have on the transition to Castle Age, right?
Should he go Eagles, though?
I don't think so in this matchup. I think you should just play archers. But if Tato sees that, I think it could be an option.
Maybe Skirm Step Lancer. Maybe that is an option. Tato said multiple times that Step Lancers are underused right now and could be played a bit more. Well, and he's obviously shown it at Vololo. He already built Step Lancer earlier with Cumint. Not to the fullest effect running into the castle there, but certainly some love for this unit.
We didn't talk about Tato's map so much, but I like it as well. I think both of these maps are quite nice. I mean, the gold it's very wallable. You can just go even to the edge of the map there if you want to, or make short walls for defense. He's already walled in front of the berries, which is very smart. He didn't wall to the berries. And his stone can be secured on the left side as well. So good map for both, and that usually tells us that we're going to get to Castle Age. We're going to get to 3 TCs for both players. We're going to likely transition into Imperial Age and have a bit more of a tactical game.
Is there no second boar coming in for Tato? Did we steal a boar or something? What's happening here? Did we shoot the boar with our tower center, maybe? I'm really confused.
We checked the HP on Villese's Eagle, I suppose.
It was full HP.
Okay.
Maybe Tato shot the boar? Why am I so confused? Because we are only pushing deer now? Am I a bit off with my timings here? We're going up. We're pushing one deer.
Illy's going to be thinking about this for the rest of the game. His ability to cast has gone down to 0 now. You're just going to be calculating this the whole time. What possibly could have happened?
So 150 food, sometimes DK, minus 150 food at the start. Okay, well, we will just continue to play from here. Tato goes for a house that indicates, okay, I won't wall the big base. Walls the right-hand side quite reasonable, and then the archer range a bit closer to his base, while Villese, he creates the box. And
it's not even a difficult box to make.
Yeah.
It's an extremely, it's like an IKEA built box. You know, he's got the instructions. And
let's see if it crumbles.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's following the instruction manual. He's going to go to the edge of the map there, and he's going to scout Tato's map, and he's going to be like, oh yeah, this is going to be pretty hard to do damage. Maybe I'll just add a barracks, I'll add an archer range, and start queuing up archers as I'm on my way to Castle Age.
Dave, prediction. What's the KD once we reach Castle Age? Once the first player reaches Castle Age?
KD once the first player reaches Castle Age. I think 1-0.
Yeah, not unlikely. Not unlikely.
Yeah.
It just feels like so good maps to play this very defensively. Tough to find damage. Not unlikely that Villese wants to play defensive archer range. You can see he's not even rushing the barracks. Not unlikely that we will see even horse color here. Or is Castle Age timing just too important? You see no rush at all. Villese knows he can't take any damage. 3 villages on gold. Tato goes for a stable. Ooh. Not really the unit that will find damage, but obviously gives you a lot of map control.
Yeah, and it gives you exploration. If you know you're going into Castle Age, you want to know where all the hills are, the extra resources, the relics and everything, so you can get set up. Also, a stable kind of holds your opponent in, right?
Yeah.
You can catch. The most important thing is you catch that archer army on the way to Castle Age, so it's not showing up as a surprise, even though you're fully walled. Hopefully, you'll be able to track that army across. And Villese's even going for walls in front of his TC. So he's putting a little hat on top of his box right now.
I'm not sure if I've ever seen a box wearing a hat. But okay.
The newest IKEA collection.
Low HP villager walling at the front doesn't really matter because we are already fully walled. Bit surprised how low the farm count is, because Village should know, okay, nothing is going to happen here. Even if I go for early fletching, pressure won't be that crazy. So transition on to multiple farms, absolutely crucial here. And Tato indeed went for the farm upgrade. No big surprise here. Sees the army coming in. Just needs to focus those walls at the top.
I'm honestly surprised Villese is getting fletching here. I mean, maybe he thinks there's some aspect of this wall that he can pressure. He did see that the entire left side of the base is open. He went through there and then he went out again. But as soon as he hits this wall, he's going to be thinking, okay, how do I do any damage? I've got 1 archer, an eagle, and 2 spearmen.
Yeah. And now we have to talk about the format again, right? Because we obviously instantly see the map, see how easy it is to be fully walled here. The players themselves obviously don't have that vision. Plus we start with the extra 6 villagers, basically cutting down 2.5 minutes of scouting time. Plus both players push deer. 1 for Tato, 2 for Villese, if I saw that one correctly. Therefore scouting limited, and that's why they went into more army than we would have judged only looking at the map.
Yep. And that's a difference with the 9 villagers start versus the 3 villagers start, right? There's a lot more scouting time, a lot more time to formulate your strategies. But here we're just right into it, and we maybe Villese will consider this a little bit of a mistake when he looks back on it. He didn't get horse collar, he got fletching instead with that food.
Okay, yeah. Well, he's annoying a bit, right? One archer there. Villager gets to some low HP, but should never lose its life. Scouts at the front, annoying a bit. Archer scares them away. Shadow maybe needs to move those villagers a bit. Blacksmith at the right-hand side. Pretty stable game, exactly what we expected, and both players starting to think about castling.
Villese is forcing some more wood investment, like you said. Some more idle time, a little bit from Tato here on additional walls behind. Tato just queuing up skirmishers, going to the gold now. He's got 12 farms set up, or 12 on food rather. It looks like 10 farms set up. And he does have horse collar. Villese does not have horse collar, but 17 on food is looking pretty good.
Maybe a bit heavier on berries. Remember, resources last a bit longer, so relatively speaking, he has more time to get those berries.
12 farms, that's not bad.
Setting up the 12th one right now, and those skirms should easily defend. Bit surprised that Tato isn't fighting with those skirms. Could have maybe pushed that one archer away. Goes for fletching himself. So Villese, probably the one with the faster casting time. Is Tato moving around? Ooh, sneaky. KD 1-0? I don't think so, Dave.
He's going to try and trap this army from behind. He's got the scouts there, too. I meant 10-0, by the way. Yeah.
I don't think so, Dave. Oh, actually,
Ooh, he's in.
No.
He's not. He's dead. All right, Archer goes down for Villese. There's the 1-0 KD that I predicted. I was right all along as Tato continues to try and get value here. Still 1-0 KD, so looking, never mind, as Spearmen go down. And those Spearmen didn't have much value aside from poking away at a few houses earlier on in the game. The KD is 4-0 for Tato, and he's going to keep these archers penned inside of Villese's base. Villese is the first one on the way to Castle Age.
Second blacksmith. Oh, no. Okay.
What a
emotional roller coaster for me.
Disaster.
Second blacksmith. Oh, no.
2% complete. Imagine the
I'm an emotional guy. What can I say?
Yeah. And it's a market for Tato. Market and a house. Now, Tato here. What does he go for? Does he go for a huge investment early? He's got the scouts, the skirms to control a little bit. He's going to be slower to Castle Age. I'm not sure he can get away with the forward siege workshop in placement unless he loops the villagers all the way around. And he's going to be under pressure.
I think it's skirms, 2 extra town centers.
Okay.
It's just like the walls are up. Villese will pressure a bit, but Tato is sitting behind house walls as well. There's no way to find any damage. Maybe he finds a villager kill here at the wood line. If he's really patient, waits for a crossbow, waits for the extra upgrade. But that's all looking so solid.
Farms are kind of denied here, and that's good pressure there from Tato. When the units are attacking a farm, by the way, the villager will not work, which I like. I think it's a good mechanic. Maybe unintentional, but realistic.
Yeah, also very realistic that they throw wood at the farm and it suddenly starts burning.
Yep.
So, yeah, great game, Age of Empires.
Well, if you rub 2 sticks together long enough.
Is that an invitation?
No. Making things weird already. We are here in person, guys. All right, here's the pressure from Tato as 1 minute and 40 seconds need to go by before he reaches the Castle Age, and 3 seconds only for Villese. Villese is going to get up, and Villese is going to go for the crossbow, and the bod can upgrade, as well as the wood upgrade, as well as the second TC, so plenty of things happening
and the third
early
TC
here
as
for
well.
Villese. And the third TC, oh man, his eco was looking nice, and that third TC is going to help against the scouts and the skirmishers too. I think for Tato, we got to start looking at the walling here. Does he have any single palisade layers? Doesn't look like it. It's double house wall, double palisade wall behind everything. And it is a step Lancer play, as you were saying. Or likely to be a step Lancer play.
Wood economy isn't really there, right? 21 on wood. He will build 2 town centers now and then heavily go onto sheep, expecting the second farm upgrade and then go into heavy farming. I think he has a pretty good TC spot at the top as well. Next to his extra gold, next to those deer. That could be something, together with the TC at the top. So feels very natural spots here. Maybe keeps his front gold a bit on the exposed side, but soon some step lancers. But the count of crossbows is rising.
Yeah, and second, third TC for Tato. And a siege workshop as well, so a lot of wood invested there. It's wood that you probably need to put into farms for the Step Lancers because it costs a lot of food to create those things, and he's got double stable as well. So I wonder how many Step Lancers we're actually going to see here early.
Well, you get 600 extra food from the 2 sound centers that will soon pop, right? Those Step Lancers just trying to intercept some reinforcements. Let's take a look. Obviously, Mike potential really good with those because that's a melee unit with range.
Still no armor on them, though. Has to be very, very squishy. Those crossbows will be doing a ton of damage. Husbandry now coming in for Tato. Really, really essential upgrade with Step Lancers as well. You want to get in, you want to give it a few pokes, and then you escape later on and try and save as many Step Lancers as you can. And Villese trying once again to push through this house. If he gets in here, trouble for Tato, but Tato already with the Siege Workshop. Tato already with the Mangonel. And Vodka showing us our exploration here as Villese notices in time, although still tanks a little bit of damage from those flying rocks. Tato still trying to harass with the Step Lancers, not finding anything.
Villese realizes this game is getting long. Could be longer than the arena game. And Villese knows, okay, I had a bit of a scare in the back of my mind in the arena game because he got 5 relics. This time, builds the monastery earlier, will contest those, and with all the army on the field, wouldn't be surprised if he gets 3, maybe even 4 relics.
Tato, villager count at 50 with 27 on food. He's really got villagers, I guess, working away on those sheep that he got for free. 2 sheep per TC for Tatars. And Villese at 56, so Villese's eco is looking really nice with wheelbarrow too.
Squeezing through there, scout down, not the biggest loss. Continues to build some Step Lancers, but main army strengths right now are the 2 Mangonels, maybe grounded against the Eagles, and then Villese needs to run.
He sees the Mangonels. He's got the Eagles on stagger formation. He ducks and dives right under those shots, but the Step Lancers are there, and they're pretty good against the Eagles, so they're going to clear those up. The Eagles don't... I think you get 2 hits against that Mangonel only, and he's going to need to back away with the crossbows. I also see Villese starting to try and secure the left side of his base where that stone is, as he's added a monastery, too, to help against the Step Lancers. And he's going to stone right now, so he's already thinking about transition later on, maybe getting a castle up on a hill or at the front of his base to keep himself secure.
11 on stone and the stone mining upgrade, something we don't often see that early. Conversion not really happening. Mangonel Dance, and Tato's really good at those.
Yeah, Villese is not bad himself as he gets a nice little quick shot out there on the Mangonel against Tato, but he stays around. He overstayed his welcome against that Mangonel, and he got punished for it. Maybe double guessing himself with that second click, and Tato now has 2 Mangonels pushing forward, but Villese finds value. Essentially a 1-for-1 trade so far, and the Repair Villager even under fire. Great split from Villese to avoid that shot.
Villager in quite some problems. It's crazy how you only lost 1 single crossbow here.
Well... Curse the caster, right? It's crazy how that villager is still alive for Tato, and he's still, well, there, okay. He's still getting value from that. He's now looking for a good engagement with the Step Lancers here, but only +1 armor on the Step Lancers. Crossbows at Bodkin. There's also a Monk and a Mangonel to support, so not much of a great engagement that can be taken there from Tato, as Villese is walling up here with a university, and he's going to complete that. There is a hole on the pond. However, there's 2 holes on the pond that Villese needs to take care of. Maybe gate right here.
Oink.
Gate. Building. Okay.
Nice. Okay, good job here. Tato, by the way, with Tatars, you typically are aiming for a big economy. You want to have those 120, 130 villages because your units are just so expensive. And that's why we see him now transition onto stone. Not unlikely that he will go for 4th town center. Maybe think about those Kashyyyks as well. A unit that generates gold if you attack with them. Also pretty low on gold count. I think 40 gold only.
They're a really cheap unit. They're a really good unit for what they are. The reason we don't see them more is because it costs a castle. You have to invest into the castle, multiple castles to get them producing. And Tatars have a lot of other good options, right? Now, Tato already teching into the cavalry tech, so he might be more inclined to go for Keshix, and I see him going out to stone now, but that's after Villese is going to have the first castle of the game up in that center hill, and that center hill is a fantastic position. However, it does leave his base a little bit exposed to pushes.
He will in pretty soon, though, so maybe those crossbows can soon be Arbalest and then defend. Oh, those are coming in. No defense here, no quick walls, and those step lances can be so annoying now.
Yep, and they can, if you group them up correctly, if you have a good micro with those, you can just one-shot the villagers as they come in, and he's going to be able to deny all these farms too. Imperial Age is coming in for Villese right now, as you said. Double monks trying to convert. Step Lancers are also good against monks because they have that +1 range. Does manage to garrison those inside the TC, but did lose one monk along the way. And Tato still a ways away from Imp as he queues up more knights.
Yeah, interesting, right? And only 2 stables. I think if you commit to knights a bit more, there's something like 3-4 stables could have been an option. That Mangano, I don't think will have the best day against a Step Lancer. The Siege Workshop there. Tato thinks his opponent will stay in castle for much longer.
He's misread the game
I think
quite a bit there, going for that Siege Workshop. I mean, unless he's trying to delay Villese's Imperial Age push, which doesn't make much sense once he gets Bracer, he should be able to snipe those Mangonels down very, very easily with the crossbows or Herbalists.
Maybe he's going for a second archer range there. I'm seeing another building. Could be an option that he feels like, okay, elite skirms being added there as a thing. Maybe some rams here at the right side. Knights are now coming in. Mangonel's crucial.
And Villese had the hill, so he's able to tank that one shot. The Knights are coming in. The Knights do have +2. Villese has to respect that. He's going to lose both the Mangonels, and he's going to retreat back towards his base. Now, Tato might get an inclination here with the lack of military production from Villese that he's gone up to Imperial Age and maybe rethinking that forward Siege Workshop position.
Okay, castle push left-hand side, not an option. Maybe Tato wants to take the hill at the right side here.
What is that tower? I hate it.
Just really scared.
It really scared.
Buy some time against the Mangonels, though, right?
Yeah.
He still needs like 1.5 minutes till he finishes.
No, I'm fine with the idea of a tower. I just don't like that
food, right? He can't afford all 3 upgrades. Bracer, Chemistry, and Arbalest.
Yep. He does have 5 TCs now.
Sick.
Crazy. And he's also got the outposts in the north there, so he's trying to explore. So he has units over on the left side of the map trying to explore as well. And he's in Imperial Age. Tato is going to have to buy himself a ton of time here, get some good trades with this army. Double monk there, though, from Villese, and he does convert a knight, and he's just falling back with the crossbows, waiting for Bracer to come in. That'll affect his crossbows and his TC, and now those knights don't have much of a shot against this army. Also the converted knight dealing with the Mangonels behind. So great engagement there from Villese, and Tato's just lost it.
Oh boy, that was so well done by Villese. Kept his crossbow numbers alive, soon to become Arbalest, and now Villese can do whatever he wants, right? He knows, okay, I cleared up all the army. Tato needs to go into a tech switch. He goes for Step Lancers. I think you have to go for elite skirmishes here. I don't think Step Lancers, you get onto the numbers, and indeed that's what he's taking into, but the timing obviously will be really off. He needs to catch up to 34, soon 39 plus Arbalest.
Yeah, and the Imperial Age is still 1.5 minutes away. It's just so difficult. And Villese has that like God spot kind of in the middle of the map with that castle in the center, right? And he's almost got enough stone for a secondary castle. If I know Villese, this one's going to go a little bit... Well, never mind. I don't know. I was going to say it was going to go a little bit more defensively. But Villese, sensing that his opponent is still behind in terms of the time windows, is going to go for one right on top of that hill, and he can definitely get away with that.
And you saw Tato there on the way to Imperial Age, taking his hands off his keyboard and mouse. He knows this is a really rough spot. That is the MTC will get to him, though. Maybe could have gone for MTC, not the most important thing, though. It should be fine, Dave. Don't get too nervous.
Yeah.
Don't get too nervous, Dave.
Yeah.
Dave,
okay, there's still 3 hits away. Yeah, we're fine. Close call, though.
Not for me.
2 hits to go on that TC before.
Yeah, it was close. It was unnecessarily close. Don't get me wrong.
I feel like you were trying to convince yourself.
TC goes down here, and we get all the upgrades there for the elite skirmishers. Need Bracer now as well, and Tato can take a reasonable fight, but it's so easy for Villese to go into the next step and switch into Eagles.
And he also has kind of like proxy map control here. Just by doing that push on Tato, Tato is only out here with like 4-step Lancers, leaves the entire left side of the map free for Villese to expand out to. So Tato is just going to have to push out here with a big snowball, but I believe that Tato has called it here, and Villese is going to take that one. And that is just a good Civ matchup for Villese. It's a good map choice for him. It plays into his strengths, and we saw it right there. Nice build up to the Castle Age. Slowly creating a snowball, playing a little bit defensively, withstanding the pressure, and Tato didn't have a chance.
Yeah, the step lances there didn't really pay off, and that's exactly what we said. Like Villese getting to 3 TC, getting to crossbow, he is so strong there, and he played so methodical. And Tato tried to make something happen, but Villese didn't give him any openings.
Yeah. I think also like not going up to Imperial Age when he probably should have maybe hurt Tato a little bit. Trying for that all-in castle investment, and then changing his mind halfway through, right? Like he didn't settle on one thing. He went for the forward siege workshop, made a mangonel from it, got the +2 armor, made a few knights, pushed in, but he wasn't adding more knights behind that for a super all-in castle. He was trying to then bank up for Imperial Age, and by the time he got to Imp, he had no army left.
Yeah, Elite Scum switch. Maybe in Castle Age you can make something happen, but the way the lighting is really funny right now. It's basically like everything is closed off except like one door that's exactly beaming at us here right now. And like the full light, like the flashlight.
I think I can like angle the light with my head.
Light the whole room.
The solar beam going. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, we're going into game number 5, and this was the prediction from from Orlu. You both said game 5. I thought it was only going to go 4 with Tato taking it, but Villese has proven himself really, really tough. Remember, guys, there is only, like, this is elimination stage right off the bat. So Villese has traveled all the way here. Tato has come from Spain as well, and they're playing one best of 5 to determine who goes through. So this is a big game for both players. We are already in our quarterfinals. It's a 3-day event at DreamHack Hannover. If you guys want to come visit, tickets are still available.
Yeah, absolutely. Expecting multiple tens of thousands of people to stop by over the weekend. Obviously, other esport events are happening. And it's crazy how important this one single game is, right? You're guaranteed to play again on Friday and Saturday if you win this one. If you lose, well, you're going to watch, maybe play the community event for 5,000 euro.
It's like, poor community members, as soon as our pros found out that they could join.
Villese joining the party.
I think the increase is from 4K to 10K, right?
Something like that. And you're guaranteed to play the 3rd place match or the finals.
Which is just insane.
Yeah. We're expecting Saturday to be really full here as well. Expecting like that there shouldn't be any seats open, lots of people around, lots of people. Yeah, I think crowd should be absolutely crazy. Obviously right now, working day, we've seen some people there. I think it will get fuller. You have some experience with those events, right?
Yeah, like conferences and whatnot. Yeah, the Thursday opening day. I mean, it's still early here in Germany. What is it, noon or something like that? I've lost track of time. But we are waiting for game number 5. We have one map left in the pool. We've got Frigid Lake. And it is either Turks or Persians here for Tato. I could see him going with either pick. I think Persians play more towards the water. Turks play more towards the mobility and the raiding. And maybe like a mid-castle age type of army or a feudal age land push for him. On the other side, Villese, Mongols, once again playing towards that early water advantage. You get up a little bit faster than your opponent. You can carry that home. Dravidians, very interesting civilization that is strong early. The later on you get in the game, you're thinking, I need to finish this now because I don't have a stable. I don't have a tech tree.
Yeah.
Like, I just have nothing.
Yeah, it feels like if we go to 40 minutes plus, Dravidians lose.
Yep.
Like they're so limited in their options, and we see indeed Persians against Dravidians. So Villese is looking for a short, very aggressive game here.
Yeah, Persians also a little bonus. Having more wood at the beginning of the game to go
50.
for the dock, so that can be very useful, getting that timing on the water. Frigid Lake, of course, your TC starts in the middle of a swamp or a marsh or a frigid, the frigid waters of shallowness around that you can't farm. Khmer, a very popular pick here because you can put your farms anywhere. These civs, though, will need a mill outside, and those mills and those farms are going to be very exposed because if you're going to wall on this map, you have to set up a gigantic wall around your base, and it's really hard to do that. Yeah, it's wide open. Luckily, neither player has generated with the gold in the front.
Yeah, so true. And that's why scouts are so good, right? Because you can use the mobility, you can force your opponent being out of position, can limit them going out. Tato, for example, yeah, we said gold is reasonably placed in the back, but those berries pretty much at the front. One villager now at the front. Well, we've seen the meta shift more into building the dock with 2 villagers, trying to get that deep fish nice and early.
Yeah, and then both players just sending one villager forward to get the docks there. Also, interesting timing from Villese. He decided to go for, with Dravidians, decided to go for that house to get him to 20 population, rather than going for the dock early that acts as a house. So maybe... maybe it's just more consistent to go for the house. Because if your opponent's scout is there and then you're housed and you can't get your dock up at the same time.
Do we have the 150 wood there?
If you don't spend it on the house, you should. Right?
Well, you're starting with minus 30 wood on those settings. Maybe that screws up the build order.
True.
But yeah, I don't really know. I'm still surprised that we only see 1 villager here at the front. And the question is it full water play? If we go like double dock, as we said, Persians, they produce faster, more HP on the docks, not the most important thing, but tougher to clear that dock up. So Tato could technically go onto land a bit earlier. On the other side, Dravidians plus 200 wood, could be an archer range, could be the barracks, could be a third dock.
Another reason to send the second villager forward, it helps you out if your opponent decides to be a real nerd with the scout. Because if you only have 1 villager forward there, they can kind of pick away at that maybe, especially if you don't have Loom early. You have 2 villagers there, it helps out. Neither player choosing to lose scout HP. They know how valuable that's going to be. And both of them are now on the way to the feudal age. Once again, Villese with a little bit more idle TC time. So that's going to be the advantage there for Tato. One thing we need to talk about with Persians, faster producing docks. So if you're 1 dock versus 1 dock, your fires are going to come out faster, and your TC is going to be producing faster behind that as soon as you reach the feudal age. Villese, however, will likely not be on even dock count as Tato because he gets that 200 wood. So he should be able to snowball, I think, pretty effectively here in the feudal age. Theoretically, anyway.
Theoretically. The thing is, like, Villese maybe wants to overcompensate, goes for 3 dogs, tries to make something happen. He himself is going with 4 on gold, while Tato, I think, only 3 on gold. So I'm not really sure what's the optimal number there. I thought it was 4. Maybe Tato will shift Q another one. Or he is thinking about going onto land a bit earlier, maybe only a slight water investment, while we see Villese already going for the second dock.
Already going for the second dock. He's got 150 wood in the bank, which he's going to get 200 more when he gets to feudal age. He could even go for like a barracks behind this to start prepping some land defense.
Just lost a lot of wood, didn't he? What happened? He built a third lumber camp? No, a second lumber camp, right?
Interesting.
I'm a bit surprised. Yeah, second lumber camp. Yeah.
Really saturating that wood line.
Second lumber camp after the second dock.
Yep. Well, you can get away with it with Dravidians, right? You got more than enough wood in the bank, and we see 2 fire galleys immediately queued there from Villese. Now, Tato is going to queue 2 fire galleys of his own, and like I said, faster producing docks. Also, Persian docks have so much HP. So if you get into a position where maybe Villese is winning the water, and you have 1 or 2 docks left, just keep a flag on each of those docks, and you can build up a massive navy inside of those. Villese will have to keep committing, because he doesn't know what you're building up inside of that. It's going to take him forever to take out those buildings.
Yeah, you can queue up to 10 units in there, so it could be fire galleys, could be demos, could be fishing ships prepared for the reboom, but also could be just 1 single unit just annoying you and trying to trick you.
Where are the repair villagers here? Villese has none forward. I guess he's scared about maybe a demo ship coming out from Tato. There we go. There's the villager right there. And Tato is already queuing up a demo raft. Villese does not have demo rafts already. And killing this villager with the demo raft is massive.
Not unlikely here.
Oh, he doesn't get it. He gets the fire galley instead, but it's still a great trade for him. Tato has the repair villager there. Villese does not, and Villese is going to lose that villager too. Tato has 3 ships, Villese with 2 in the queue. This is awful for the Finn.
Oh, what happened there for Villese? Lost the 2 there. The demo connection was so good there after all, and now being microed back. I might find the scout kill, but Tato has to be happy with this opening.
Yeah, I think Tato, correct timing on the demo raft. Villese was trying to get 4 fire galleys out and then switch into demo rafts there to try and get some value. Tato realized that maybe he could get a good swing early. His docks produce faster than Villese, so it's probably going to come out first. Might be able
Demo.
to kill that villager too, as the demo comes after the villager there. That's a great quality demo from Villese, maybe pushing himself back into this game a little bit. And I see him going forward with some vills too on the left side, so maybe he's trying for forward pressure, being helped out by that 200 wood that he got earlier.
Yeah, barracks, obviously something that you need before you can really go for any extra military buildings. The archer range, the stable. Feels like archer range is likely, because you're already heavily on wood and food, lost all your fish, is setting up some farms. And now this is the moment where Tero Scout is the hero unit. He needs to see what's going on, what are you doing, what are you transitioning into, and then build the correct counter.
Unfortunately for him, Tato Scout is at the back of Vilese's base, so he doesn't see anything because the production buildings are forward. Now, if Tato goes to the left side, that's going to give him some insane value. Right now, he's simply scouting an empty marsh around the TC. Same amount on gold that you would have for continued ship production. And doesn't see a barracks or anything. So the decision to go forward like that for Villese might catch Tato off guard.
He's walling the left side, realize, okay, where is the angle where it could take most damage now? Right, this is the moment you have to ask. You won water, you have the better economy, you have more map control. This is your game to lose. Now, Tato should think about, what are ways to lose? Where can I take damage? How can this guy surprise me? That's why scouting is important and preparing units against this attack here at the left.
And here comes the Spearman from Villese. Villese also with some archers in the queue, Tato with some archers in the queue. So I think Tato is suspecting there might be some archers coming out, but he's not maybe thinking about this time window, Villese punishing him, because otherwise he would be going for skirmishers here, I believe. But I guess his eco is more focused on the gold and wood, as he has a lot of gold in the bank.
A house there could be nice to wall this off if he focuses on it. One archer won't be the scariest thing ever, though. But it will be fletching against no fletching, so a bit of annoyance. Terra now sends some villagers. One house, second house, nice move.
Nice
Buys himself some time.
Yeah, it's just buying yourself a couple seconds for those archers that you've been producing to come on over. And there they are right there. They're going to sit behind the walls, and Villese is going to have some problems here, as he's now losing his last dock. Sponsored by Microsoft.
Yeah. Pretty safe by Tato. He doesn't really need that tower, right? That is like him, okay. How can I lose this? How can I get overwhelmed? Actually, it gives him some problems, because now the gold is a bit open, but only 2 villages against that. Taro even goes for the counterattack. Oh, that's ballsy.
Yeah, and Villese is going forward with the tower. He's going to try to attempt to cut off this gold. Also, the tower will help him get through these walls here from Tato, as Tato simply adds 3 more houses behind. And as Vodka is pointing out, our wonderful observer there, Tato has a goal to go back to at the back of his base, and that is a 4-tile gold. That's plenty to keep him going through this feudal age and early castle age period. Also, he has 350 in the bank.
Let's take a look at the berries of Villese. Does he suspect anything? How open is he there? Tries to wall with 2 villagers. That's still open. Berry's pretty exposed. But Tato, he can run through the town center.
There's a hole there.
Right?
There's a gigantic hole.
Doesn't matter. You can
right
run
where his
through the
scout
town
is.
center anyways.
There's a hole on the town center. There's holes everywhere. It's like Swiss cheese over here in Villese's base, as he's going to try and force this one down. Now he has the false sense of security, as Tato can simply run around here. Villese is going to be awfully frustrated with that one. That is not a good scenario for him. That's all of his food eco set up around this mill. And like I said before, these mills become awfully exposed. Tato abusing that fact, and Villese's push at the front not really going anywhere.
Sending in 2 archers. You're kind of hoping that Tato now missteps here. Tato really good. Snipes 1 archer and might keep 2 still alive.
Yep. Now Tato going for a market right near the army from Villese, and that shows how comfortable he is. He also has that defensive tower, as we showed there. And Tato, with all that gold, should be able to buy a couple hundred food and make his way up to the castle age shortly. Villese's eco also looking okay, and he's got skirmishers to defend this archer army here. But we can look at that eco KD, and that kind of tells the story of the game so far. 3 of those were fishing ships, but Tato ahead 6-1 over Villese.
Remember, town center still producing fast as well. That's why we have the even further villager advantage. Now Skirm Archer clearing up the archers here. Castle age timing will be pretty similar of both players. Remember, we're advancing to the next age, which is the castle age. A bit faster for Persians as well. So should be pretty similar timing. Tato, still so much control.
What do you do here with Dravidians? That's my question. Like,
Siege Pike all in.
Siege Pike all in.
You can't win the late game, so you have to end it within the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I think you have to take some wild risks. And that's why Teto is playing so safe. So many houses. He will, and you see, villagers are moving forward. It has to be a wild push nearby Villese. And he might look pretty inefficient and like a weird strategy here, but he needs to take some major risks now.
Yeah, I mean, Tato is controlling the food. In the middle, he only has 4 fishing ships, but still, that's 4 fishing ship advantage over your opponent. He's killed the villagers on the farms at the back. Tato is going to be into the castle age at around the same time, and he has Persian town centers. This is a really, really big mountain for Villese to climb here. There's still a chance, though, if he does pressure with the forward siege workshops, if he gets a few good trades early in castle age, he could potentially make his way into Tato's eco. And there is a chance as well that if Tato's not paying attention, Villese could come and snipe those fishing ships.
Oh, yeah.
At some point with land units, even.
Pretty exposed. And look at that. Tato is trying to search for that forward. Misses the 2 villages there. I now want to see if Tato is actually going for some stables. Wouldn't surprise me to have a better option to defend that forward. Pulls villagers away from the center. Some on stone wants to get more town centers. Maybe some defensive towers. I actually wouldn't be surprised if we get guard towers here from a Persian player.
Especially from Tato. I like Tato, who has loved guard towers for a very long time. Villese now in the castle age. He has more than enough wood to get a siege workshop up here, and he hasn't built it yet. He's going for a second TC.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, I hope those villagers don't carry that wood all the way back to the main TC.
Well, maybe they come back, drop off the 20 wood, and then build the...
Yeah, and then he remembers that they're there.
Oh. Some more walls here, tries to funnel everything towards the tower, some harassment, but villagers shouldn't go down. Tato sees, okay, you go crossbow with Botkin. I won't mind that too much. Let's go Botkin for our scums ourselves.
Also getting bloodlines. And Tato could opt to go into Knights here, which I think would be a good option, and Villese has forgotten completely about those villas. That is super unfortunate.
And Tato might think, okay, those are only now going to the top.
Yep.
So Tato knows so much more about the timing than he actually should.
Monks being added in here from Villese. So you said Villese doesn't have a chance in the late game. Kind of looks like he's playing a little bit towards the late game.
Okay. A unit that we rarely see, but that it could actually make sense in this matchup. What do you think about Elephant Archers?
I don't like them. I don't like them.
Like Kipchak don't like them, or Elephant Archers?
No. Like I like them for Bengalis. I don't know how I feel about them for Dravidians. I think if Tato, if there's Elephant Archers, I think Tato can just go into like Knights Cavaliers. The thing that concerns me in this matchup is the Woot Steel Halbs and Skirmisher mix. I think really concerns me against Persians if we get that late, but that's a big investment for Villese. I don't know what Persians have to counter Elite Skirm, Woot Steel Help.
Long swords?
See, now you're thinking. Now you're like going through, okay, what counters help? Hand cannon, or crossbow, commander and crossbow, right?
No.
And then you're thinking, but if the Elite Skirms are mixed in with those,
oh, Monk gets the conversion. Unlikely that Tato will see that. Oh, nice conversion there, and will get the relic, while Tato is in at the bottom. So, quite annoying here.
Yeah, and that's a denied TC there. So Villese trying to expand his eco, not really getting there, and still with double TC against double TC, the Persians player is going to have the advantage there with the better production from Tato, so his eco just keeps expanding, though. Although he has had some idle TC time.
Oh, Villager's back.
In here.
Getting the wood there at the top. Oh, man. Crossbow round. Tato, 10 workers ahead. That's 5 fishing ships and 5 villages. Tries to expand that. No one really going for relics except Villese, getting 1 home for now. Tato, what's his next step here?
It's a forward siege workshop.
Ah, makes lots of sense.
Yeah, he saw that TC and he knows there's an angle he can pressure that.
Oh yeah, love that.
Yep. And he's gonna start mixing in a couple Knights too. And Knights in Frigid Lake with a base like this could be so devastating for Villese. I mean, how is he gonna counter that, right? He's gonna have to make He's going to have to keep his monks in the right spots, I guess. His archers in the right spots, maybe going to pikemen, maybe more spearman production. It's going to be really tough.
And it's so tough to counterattack as well, because you have to take such a big detour. You can't really go through the right-hand side, because mangonels could be waiting for you. So you have to walk the left-hand side, which Tedo already walled, with your crossbows and skirms then. So I think Villese won't find another villager kill for a very long time here.
Is that a university in Tato's base?
Maybe he goes for ballistics.
Siege Workshop.
Oh, still expecting the aggression from there. He saw the villagers earlier.
Those 2 wood villagers. They're getting value still, other than the wood.
Not even the wood. The villager idol there.
The wood, I don't even think they brought it back in the first place. Monastery. Persians with underwhelming monastery tech tree, I believe, but it helps to support the Siege Workshop there. Also can heal up some of his knights from behind. Still 5 fishing ships working well on those fish in the middle. The fish are disappearing at a rapid rate there, but Tato has gotten such value in the food collection from having them there.
Mangonel actually doing some reasonable damage against the knight here. Maybe a second shot, and then the crossbows could get the clear up. No, knight v knight fight. Maybe a ground attack. Actually does solid damage here, so Monk has to do some work. And this is an interesting micro scenario. Monk goes down though. Nice move by Tato.
Yep, and Tato, he has the knights, he's got the crossbows, he's got the mangonel. He just seems to have all the answers here for Villese. Villese is now coming out with villagers to attack the crossbows, and Villese gets a conversion on this skirmisher. That's going to help push back the crossbows, and also knights to clear up the mangonel there. So good pushback here from Villese.
Monk won't get the conversion. Villese relatively fortunate there. We need to see some more army production though. That's a spot where we will have a lot of villagers in some minutes, and Tedo identifying that one quite nicely.
Still 2 knights there from Villese, providing a little bit of a threat against that mangonel from Tato. And this is what happens if Tato goes a little bit too deep with the mangonel. Knights bumping up against each other, but it looks like Villese is going to clear that out. Maybe? No, he pulls the knight away in time, so good save there from Tato as he's going to pull his knights away to avoid the conversions. And Villese is forced to go for another Siege Workshop back there.
Villese is still producing from the left side's archery range, and that makes it so tricky for him, constantly getting killed there by the fire galleys, and that's why his numbers are so low on range units, while he's actually constantly producing. Now diving to the monks.
Oh, only gets 1 conversion, but the monks are going to go down here. Good snipes there from Tato, and there's 3 knights now. Only 2 knights as another monk pops out and gets a conversion.
Villese is doing a great job of buying himself time.
He's doing a fantastic job. Tato's going for a TC on that forward tower from Villese, so he's trying to reclaim his forward-ish gold that Villese had control over earlier. And he's still expanding his villager count, but right now Villese is buying a mangonel blocking knights from hitting a monk. I don't think I've ever seen that.
Crazy creativity there by Tedo, buying himself time for the monk to get the conversion. Brilliant move. Tedo sits at soon 4 town centers here. Economy is rolling. Villese not far behind though. I think the main advantage Tedo has right now is map control, but numbers are getting closer and closer.
Villese's done so good with these engagements. He's done so well with these engagements, and Tato is now queuing up more skirmishers. The food from the fish in the middle, way less of an advantage now as all the fish are gone. Just working on the shore fish that is left over. And now a castle up for Villese, so it's very difficult for Tato to push from that side. And he's expanding over to the left side. And I never thought I'd say this. In this game, Villese is the first one to click up the imp.
Wow,
that's
how is that an option?
That's crazy.
Double archer range skirm, 1 stable knight. Tedo continues to produce villagers, goes for mangonels, so still big investment here. Villese somewhat exposed at left-hand side. Maybe there's a world and where there's a timing. Tedo's castle, not very aggressive, not really punishing this gold either.
Did Tato just need to invest more onto knights in castlage, like +2 and just dive in, or?
I think the numbers were pretty low, and that made the monks so efficient. If he waits for like maybe 5-6 more knights and makes 1 big attack happen, it's tougher for Villese to
It's happening again. Villese is on the way to imp, and Tato's getting the +2 cav armor. We saw that last game, right?
Yeah. But last game, population was relatively even. Now Tedo has all the map control, while in the game before, obviously, Villese was an even population and had the castle in the middle. So map control will buy Tedo some time. Just remember, I think Villese will be so scared going over that marsh area in the center because it's against Tato
And
it's against
demos.
potential.
I think you have to respect it, right?
Yeah.
Demos are half of the threat of a demo is the unit itself, and the other half is the mind games that it plays with.
Yeah.
When you know that it's an option, as the TC is now being taken out on the left side here, and Villese is kind of house. What is he going to go for immediately upon getting Imperial H? Does he just upgrade to Halberdier? He's got a Rumi in the queue.
Wow, a unit that we barely see. Has some splash damage, has some charge damage as well, so pretty big damage dealer.
That unit destroys everything if you get it fully upgraded and if you have like 40 of them.
Okay.
It absolutely slays, but it's so many conditions you have to meet to get there.
We're working on 9 right now. Economy is still looking pretty solid. Above 100 villagers here for Villese, but only one cast for now. Can afford a second one, maybe on the sill. Tries to buy himself some time. Going for Sanctity now. Oh, that's an optimistic castle. Can we get through?
Very optimistic, especially with 2 Mangonels there, especially attacking that lumber camp. Maybe the splash damage would have denied the foundation, and Villese agrees. He's going to go for it a little bit further back as he continues to mass the Rumi Swordsman. He's going for Sanctity, he's going for Halberdier, he's going for the infantry upgrade. Woot Steel is an interesting option for Dravidians as well. It makes their melee attacks ignore armor. So you immediately get a huge amount of value on your Halberdiers. They go from 6+4 to just 10 straight attack.
Yeah. Armor just ignored is crazy. Obviously, if you fight against units like Cavaliers, Paladins, maybe later on, that have crazy high armor, up to 7, you basically ignore all that. And Tato now goes up to Imperial Edge. Look at how short that imp timing is for Persians there with the faster town center. I think we need to see hand cannoneers here. What do you think?
Cannoneers, and then if he mixes in hand cannoneers, I think we see skirmishers from Villese. Bracers already coming in for him. Conscription coming in as well. He's adding in crossbows. That's interesting from Villese. I guess the crossbows can deal with the hand cannoneers as well.
Dave, I was a bit scared at 9 minutes that it could be a 9-minute, 1-second game.
Yeah.
We got a real game on our hands
Villese
here.
did a fantastic job defending. I think Tato maybe didn't invest into the correct amount of units. Maybe the right push in Castle Age, but just not the correct amount of units. And Tato still in a pretty good position in this game. He's 1 minute and 20 away from him. He has water control, which I think is huge on this map to give yourself some positions to push from. He's got double castle, one on each side of his base. Dravidians famously maybe underperform in late Imperial Age, but this is a Civ matchup where I could see them working, and we see Elite Arumi. This is a unit that I haven't seen in months.
Oh yeah, neither have I. Dravidians simply not getting a lot of love, and therefore we don't see it too often. Now we go for Commander Run, therefore crossbows can be built without the investment of gold, so Tato is setting himself up beautifully for the very late game.
So Bozov finally coming in for Villese. Tato's still lacking that upgrade, and War Galley coming in for Tato. He knows how to use the water control effectively, and that's going to be an issue for Villese. If Villese does ever get docks, though, he's got a pretty good dock texture of his own.
Yeah, true. Dravidians would be crazy if they get the water control. We have heavy demos for persons, though. Maybe something Tato wants to go for. Now we are adding some repair on that castle. Commander Run finishes.
Demos could absolutely slay Arumi if Villese gets careless.
Oh yeah, one obviously easily can kill up to basically what's it within range.
Yeah. And Onager for Villese.
Wants to deal with those skirmishes.
Interesting.
Rumi here can do quite some damage, but as we said, not the highest HP out of them. And now they're getting pushed back, die quite easily, but crazy damage dealers.
Yeah, if you take a straight-up melee fight against those things, be prepared, because the splash damage and the charge damage is just going to add up over time. As Villese goes for another castle in the back, he's still trebbing the castle forward from Tato, as Tato gets Paladin, Chemistry, Final Armor upgrade.
Hang on, ult. Oh, that's a bit out of position. Can we find the kill? Probably off one. Need another volley. Hill advantage wasn't there.
Got him, and the castle will likely go down, but the army is in the back here. And speaking of castles, Villese is trying to YOLO up this castle here. The Cavalier will engage against the Arumi, and the Arumi are going to be doing a whole lot of damage. The Cavalier go down, but fortunately for Tato, he does have the skirmishers behind, adding in a little bit of chip damage. Villese is just trying to buy himself time to push up that castle, and the castle goes up and he's safe.
Oh, dropping below pop 150 here is Villese. Is this maybe his last game of this tournament? Tato is trying to work for it so hard. Now goes on to hand cannoneers himself, even mixes in some scouts. So apparently hand cannoneer Hussar, the army composition that he wants to go for. Continues to kill some villagers, now above 34, tries to hold on to that castle. He has chemistry. Cannon Galleon, is that an option?
Cannon Galleon might be an option. I think it's a little bit difficult because there's all this
Bombard Cannon dealing with it.
Bomber Cannon taking out one Treb. We have to question the Onager choice here from Villese, right? He has no food in the bank, and he's struggling to produce units, but he got the Onager tech with no mangonels on the field. Maybe that was a waste of resources. Maybe we're seeing it kind of biting him here as he's struggling to keep his population up, and he's forced to go for ballistics, and he's forced to retreat a little bit back to a 4th castle now in a defensive location.
Really cornering himself. It feels like he has like 20-25% map control right now. Tato just playing it beautifully, now getting all the upgrades. Look at that, 3 eco upgrades coming in. Last attack upgrade as well. He's looking at pop 200. And look at his army. He goes for everything. He has like 12 different unit groups.
Yep. Tato's got a lot of units up there in the queue if you take a look on the top right side. And the castle is now up for Villese. However, that gold is still pretty exposed if he wants to take some of that. The bomber cannons are still alive, and the skirmisher is still falling back there. And Tato still with full water control. So Villese needs to be very careful every time he comes near this position. Don't stray too far under that shallow area. Tato might have a devil waiting.
So Villese really early got the 3 relics. Tato now got the other 2 for himself. So not a big disadvantage there. Pretty much impossible that that will be a deciding factor for either player there in the long run. It's more likely that extra golds, extra stones will have a bigger effect.
Okay, so some raids over on the right side there from Villese as Tato is just trying to build up his siege and push forward once again. Looks like Villese is just kind of building up his army as well. He's got Skirmisher now coming in. Elite Skirm is in. Blast Furnace is coming. I don't think Woot Steel has been researched yet, and Chemistry is on the way as well. So Dravidian's getting access to Bomber Cannons now, which they didn't have initially upon release. Gives him an option to fight back the Bomber Cannons from Tato. Also gives him an option to snipe these strips.
And nice mobility movement here of Tato, and that's the beauty of the lake, right? And that's why we said it is so big for Tato early on. The map control, now even tacking into Paladins, and Tato can just chip away all those castles, maybe even attack the monastery, and then it gets tricky. How can Villese even defend those raids later on?
Such a great advantage here from the water position for Tato. I mean, Villese can't even really think about diving on this without taking a huge risk, right? He doesn't know what's lurking there from Tato, and Tato has land army as well as Villese now walls up the left side. Villese is trying to secure everything, and he's trying to drag this even later on into the game, just trying to survive at the moment. His monastery goes down, 3 relics pop out. That's going to hurt his gold income, especially now that he only has 6 on gold. But he does have a decent military here with 58 military, and Tato's got 4 demos waiting. Tato is drawing him further and further back here. What is the high-value targets? It has to be the Arumi Swordsman. He's going right for them.
But he is all shredded. Villese, he says, oh, just a prank, and goes back here. And now Villese knows, okay, I can never engage into that. And traps, they can reach everything from this area, or at least so many different buildings. That you see unlikely to go up, or if it goes up with heavy losses on the villagers, likely to go down after that with the 2 traps around. Urumi still going over there. Villese, we said it earlier, Dravidians just lacking options in the late game, and facing Paladins here in a 1v1. You're not looking too hard if you're the Dravidian player here.
Yeah, Tato's played this really well, though, especially with just keeping the threat of the water involved. Like, if you look at all the areas he's pushed, it's always within 10 tiles of the water. So he can fall back to that, and that's a constant threat for Villese. Also hasn't let Villese take control of that front side of the base and maybe get docks up of his own. So Tato's playing the map control aspect really, really well here. Villese still hasn't picked up those relics. He's struggling. He's struggling a lot here as Tato now takes control over that neutral gold where Villese just built a TC.
Now relics taken away as
Wood
well. Still not really getting them. Okay, Wood Steel. Pretty nice. Paladin efficiency goes down.
Also, Arumi effectiveness goes up a lot with Wood Steel.
Ah, yeah, I can see that. And what is that? Are they building? Oh, yeah, lumber camp, but halberdiers are coming over for the save. Villese, he's still looking at pop 200, right? But how can he ever push this? On water? No way. Right-hand side, there's a castle, the siege workshop. Left-hand side, he decided to wall this one off. It feels like Villese, is he like prolonging his like death, or is it like...
He's just waiting for an opportunity. That's what it feels like right now. Like, he's just kind of massing military. He's keeping himself alive. He's waiting maybe for Tato to take a bad fight, to mass up enough Halbs, Arumi. He's got Wood Steel now. Just kind of getting all of his upgrades, and he's just going to hope that he can take some good engagements. But without the water control, like I said, it's going to be so tough, right? And it's not like with Dravidians, you have any mobility to go in and raid. You don't have a stable.
Back to 3 relics here. Okay, let's take a look. Now moving in again. Bombard Cannon Dance. Obviously something that can make something happen against the crosswind skirms that are really clumped up. Paladin raids here at the left-hand side. And that really is the sign of confidence. If you can raid with Paladins, if you have Hussars as an option.
Arumi's getting some value against the Paladins, though, and those things will just melt as they come in. Another Paladin army on the way. Arumis have kind of lost their charge there, but they're still getting value against those. And the Halbs are getting insane value, man. But the Paladins, like you said, it's a sign of strength when you can send in 2 or 3 at a time. And if Tato gets 2 or 3 in the back of Villese's base, he's going to continue to do damage. However, Villese's managed to hold on here. He's at 180 pop still. He's got more population right now than Tato does. And he's trying to push back these bomber cannons.
That was a lot of gold investment. Now the skirms are pushing in, trying to snipe down all the hand cannons. And suddenly we're looking at crossbow skirmisher. Not the craziest units ever. Halberdiers are pushing in. Tato, I think he needs to retreat a bit here.
He's losing Paladin numbers for sure. He still has 13 on gold currently, and he has 2 relics of his own. So there's gold left over for him to take.
Guilds.
But
Guilds earlier, now having the better rates, but Paladin's just such a crazy unit. Villese drops below pop 150, 3 relics alone won't help him. And yeah, Tato says, okay, that's where your army is. Let's attack another angle. Trap's already shooting.
yeah, and he's got enough crossbows now to protect him against the Halbs. Even with the skirmishers there, with Paladin in front, 32 Paladin and 42 crossbows behind. It's looking kind of insane for Tato. He's got more than enough military to keep the siege protected. Siege in this area can snipe down 2 castles, can deny that gold, and it appears as if oh, Tato just took his hands off the keyboard. Okay, I thought the GG had come in there for a second.
Well, apparently not. Villese still tries to hold this one off. Obviously, there's so much on the line here for him. He sees, okay, I have proper economy, I have the relic advantage, I can still produce, but resources not looking hot. The units that you're going for, Halberdier Skirmisher against a pretty heavy gold army here, not looking too hot either, losing another castle. It's just like, no matter where we show the camera, it's never looking good for Villese.
Oh no, Tato's losing all his crossbow numbers. That cost literally nothing. That's unfortunate for him. He's just taken out the castle on the left side. And he's into the farming eco once again from Villese. And Villese, it's not even like he can expand to the right very far. He can go into that corner, maybe, but Tato kind of already has that locked down as the Halbs are now being cleared up. KD kind of tells the story of the end part of this game here. Tato just killing trash units from Villese. Mentioned it at the start. Dravidians don't usually want to play into the long game. Maybe there's a unit composition here if they have equal economies where Villese can make something happen against Persians.
And maybe if you can contest the water at some point, right? If the Halberdiers push this away, if crossbow numbers weren't at the right number and Halberdiers just get control, you can get onto the dock and suddenly Dravidians have another winning condition, getting all the control over that. Then you can make something happen, but Tato just so active, finding so many more kills. Now most of the siege got kills, that's why the push isn't that crazy strong, with only 2 bombards around, traps lacking quite a bit. But look at that, the queue, full of paladins, full of crossbowmen, skirms dying while they're spawning.
And even Capt Ram coming in from Tato, so he's just going to follow up with more siege. Paladins running into the right side of the eco. Paladin raids are so tough to clear up, even if you have a Halberdier. The mobility and the quickness with which they kill the villagers, the lack of damage that they take is insane, and Tato is going to go through the quarterfinals here, taking it 3-2 over Villese. A spirited defense there from Villese. We thought he was dead early into that game, but he managed to hold on for so long. We saw an elite upgrade we'd never see. I mean, he's super creative, but Tato just playing it out there perfectly. really utilizing his water control, and we saw the strategy element for him come out.
That's the light that we had earlier there. Oh man, that's us. That's Dave. That's me. That's Tato and Villese giving the handshake. Great set. And yeah, we expected a pretty close set, and they delivered so well. Last game, it just felt like that first water engagement gave Tato such a big advantage, but a brilliant play, like how he took that advantage and just increased it further and further.
Yeah, I like the effort that Villese put in. We thought he was dead really early, and he managed to survive for a very long time. And the eco was equal, like into Imperial Age. He had a 3-minute advantage to Imperial Age. It's kind of crazy.
Gave Tato the best chances to throw the game. Like Villese said, like that's a spot where you can misstep and lose the game. Here's an option where I allow myself a comeback. Oh, another winning condition. But Tato he denied everything. Defended the push at the top, defensive siege workshop, the early tower, and just so many steps that he kept Villese on his toes and kept the full control.
Yep. Amazing performance from Tato. This is what we expected to see from him. He won the last S-tier LAN event. Well, I guess we only have S-tier LAN events, but he won our last LAN event, and that was his first S-tier victory. He's looking to continue it forward here. You got a tough matchup when you consider the 4 players that were in the second pot. I think Villese, you could make an argument for him being the strongest player there.
And you could make an argument for facing the weakest player.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Out of Tato there, Leary, Hera, Viper. Maybe that could have been the closest matchup on paper.
Yeah, I thought it was like 60-40 or 55-45, and as we advertised, we got to game number 5 there. So that quarterfinal, basically every game was fantastic except the fish and fish game, potentially. A little bit of a stop there for Tato. Kind of got the early snowball rolling. Other than that, I mean, Portuguese, game number 1. We saw that amazing arena game where Tato took all the advantages and then Villese pushed him back with a better save. We saw the final game there with Villese holding on for so long. And then we saw that great Arabia game as well where Villese just showed us exactly what his strengths are. And Tato just wasn't able to compete.
A great set. And we will see Tato tomorrow in the semifinals. And now we want to hear from the man. Ali, take it away.
Thank you, Nili. Tato, congratulations. You are looking so good on that stage. How are you feeling right now after that victory?
I'm feeling really good, obviously. Like always having to beat one of those really good players is a good feeling. And now in semifinals, so super happy. Looking forward for it.
Well, you really deserved it. Quick question. We saw some really nice moves you had there with the Mangonel blocking that monk. Was that intentional or just a happy little accident?
No. It was intentional. I didn't want him to kill my monka.
It was really innovative. In the last game also, we saw a lot of those Arumi swordsmen. Were you expecting that unit composition from Villese?
I didn't expect him to go right away, but I think Arumis are really solid against Persian, so I think it was a really good option for him, and he did it.
Were you expecting Villese to try to take this into the late game, or did you think he would have a little bit more early aggression to try to come back after losing the water?
I mean, he had both choices, right? If he tried to early pressure me in Castle Age and it doesn't work, he's dead. So he tried to outboom me because he reached Castle Age slightly faster than me and tried to get it to the late game where he also had 3 relics, so that was on his favor.
Perfect. And game number 3, I actually went backstage to grab some water, and when I came back, it was all over. Fish and fish. I think you were playing Lithuanians versus Villese's Khmer. Can you walk me through it? What happened there?
I think Villese was expecting me to open many times, and I guess my strategy was countering his strategy. And when he was out on the middle, like fish is super important there. And the fact that I managed to deny him from there, I think he realized that it was over. Like he could have still fight a little bit more, but I think it was going to be just like impossible to come back.
And this series going into the 5th game, is that making you a little nervous going into the semifinals tomorrow? Or do you think you just had a little bit more time to play the maps and have a little bit more practice?
Well, I think it helps us also. Villese is a super strong player, so I would not expect to be like 3-0 for either him or me. So like it was a close series, and I think that helps me to prepare for semifinals as well.
Do you have anything else you'd like to say to the fans out there supporting you?
No, well, thank you so much everyone for supporting me, and hope to see you in a business interview in the semifinals as well.
Well, we will look forward to watching you play tomorrow. In the meantime, have a wonderful rest. Enjoy the rest of the sets. There's still lots of action coming our way, and we're going to send you back to Artosis to have a little bit of a preview of what is yet to come.